If you want to be a leader, you need to start thinking and talking like one. The way you communicate has the power to shape how others perceive you, and it can even influence the direction of your career. Talking like a leader isn't about using fancy words or speaking in a way that sounds impressive to others. It's about being clear, confident, and direct in how you communicate. The right words at the right time can motivate, inspire, and move people to action. In this video, we're going to dive into practical advice on how to speak with the authority and conviction that leaders have. I'll show you how to talk in a way that commands respect, builds trust, and leads to stronger relationships. Whether you're already in a leadership role or just starting to develop your skills, mastering the art of clear and confident communication is one of the most powerful tools you can use to get ahead. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll have actionable tips that will transform the way you speak and the way others listen. Ready to unlock your inner leader? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Start your day early with clear, focused intention. How you start your day is how you shape your life. The way you rise each morning reflects your mindset, your discipline, and your commitment to becoming better. Every single day presents you with a chance to take control of your time, to take charge of your energy, and to live with purpose. And it all begins in the first hour of your day. This is the hour that defines the quality of your thoughts, the clarity of your goals, and the strength of your self-respect. Waking up early isn't just about beating the sun, it's about beating your weaker self. It's about rising before the noise of the world hits and creating silence where you can think clearly and act with purpose. It's about owning your time instead of being pulled around by urgency and distractions. When you wake up early, you tell yourself and the world that you are in charge. You decide what your day will look like. You are not reacting, you are leading. That's what leaders do. They start from intention, not from impulse. Your mind is clearest in the morning. Before texts come in, before emails scream for attention, before responsibilities start to weigh on you. In the quiet morning hours, you are mentally sharp. That's when the most important decisions should be made. Not after fatigue sets in. Not when your willpower has already been spent. If you want to build a strong mindset, start by taking back your morning. Getting up early doesn't mean you sacrifice rest. It means you value your time so much that you plan your evenings with enough discipline to wake up ready. This is about being deliberate. Sleep matters, but so does what you do with your waking hours. A strong life begins with strong mornings, and strong mornings begin the night before. Start with one simple change: wake up 1 hour earlier than you do now. Use that hour for yourself, not for work or noise. Use it to plan, to think, to breathe, to get your mind aligned with your goals. In that hour, ask yourself what really matters today. Not what's urgent, not what's convenient, but what's important. Most people never ask themselves that question. They jump into their day with no direction. That's how days are wasted. That's how life slips away. Start your morning with clarity. Sit in silence and think. Take out a journal and write down your goals. Be specific, not vague hopes. Clear targets. Clarity is power. Know what you want and why it matters. When you wake up early and write down your goals, you start moving toward them with focus. You stop drifting. You begin to lead your life instead of waiting for life to happen to you. Include time to train your body. Movement sharpens the mind. Even 10 minutes of exercise can shift your mood, boost your energy, and set the tone for a productive day. Your body must be treated like a tool. If it's weak, your mind will suffer. You can't talk like a leader if your body is sluggish and your energy low. Training every morning sends a signal to your mind, I am preparing for something greater. I am not here to waste time. I am here to grow. Then feed your mind, read something wise. Listen to something that expands your thinking. Fill your mind with something that builds strength, not noise. Most people fill their mornings with garbage, scrolling through social media, drowning in negativity, consuming content that kills focus. You must do the opposite. If you want to talk like a leader, you must think like one. And to think like one, you must consume what builds clarity and conviction. Before the world has a chance to shape your mindset, shape it yourself. Think ahead. Who do you want to be today? How do you want to speak? How do you want to respond to pressure? Visualize yourself staying calm. Picture yourself leading with discipline. Picture yourself handling challenges with confidence. That image becomes your blueprint. Leaders see the day before they step into it. As your morning routine becomes consistent, your mind becomes clearer. The chaos begins to fade. You no longer wake up reacting. You wake up building. This is the foundation of personal leadership. Nobody can do it for you. You must commit to it daily. The rewards come slowly, but they come with power. You start noticing that you speak with more intention. You listen better. You feel less rushed. You become someone others trust because you trust yourself first. That's the kind of confidence that can't be faked. It's earned in the quiet hours when nobody is watching. Discipline is freedom. When you start your day early with focused intention, you eliminate the anxiety that comes from being rushed. You stop stumbling through tasks. You stop making poor decisions under pressure. You act from a centered place. This mental edge gives you control over your time and your life. You stop being a victim of distraction and start becoming the author of your own results. You also build something more powerful than motivation. You build momentum. Each day you rise with purpose. You train your mind to expect growth. You begin to associate your mornings with progress. It becomes easier to keep going because the path is already laid out. You're no longer trying to find motivation in the middle of chaos. You've already chosen your direction. That decision was made before the day began. To sustain this habit, you must protect it. Protect your mornings like your future depends on it, because it does. That means you also need to say no to things that steal your rest. Stop staying up late to impress people who don't even think about you. Stop wasting time on distractions that drain your focus. If you want a strong morning, you need a disciplined evening. Turn off your phone. Prepare for the next day. Wind down with intention. Let the night restore you, not rob you. People often say they don't have time to wake up early. The truth is, they haven't taken control of their lives. Time is not given. It's created by decisions. The world is full of distractions waiting to steal your hours. If you don't claim them first, you lose. Leadership begins when you say, "This hour is mine. This life is mine. I will not waste it." Start with what you can control. Set your alarm. Prepare your space. Set out your clothes. Plan your workout. Choose what you will read. Write down your top priorities. Make it easy for yourself to win. Remove excuses before they show up. When your morning is planned, your life becomes predictable in the best way. Success is no longer a gamble. It's a system. You're not just building a routine. You're building trust in yourself. Every time you wake up early and follow through, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. You stop being someone who breaks promises. You become someone who shows up. That identity shift is powerful. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how people respond to you. Confidence is built through repetition. Trust is built through consistency. Some mornings will feel hard. You'll feel tired. You'll want to stay in bed. That's when the real work begins. Do not negotiate with weakness. The more you give in, the more you train your mind to settle. You must push through resistance, not because it's easy, but because it makes you stronger. Each time you do what you said you would, your discipline deepens, and with it your confidence grows. There is something sacred about the early hours. The stillness teaches you presence. The silence sharpens your awareness. You become more in tune with your thoughts, your feelings, your goals. You don't need loud motivation. You need quiet direction. Waking up early teaches you to listen, not to the world but to yourself. That inner voice becomes clearer when everything else is still, and that voice is what will guide you toward greatness. Many people live in chaos because they never build order. They live reactive lives, jumping from task to task, never stopping to ask why. They feel lost, drained, overwhelmed. But that can change, not through shortcuts or hacks, through simple discipline, through focused intention, through winning your mornings. That is how you transform your life. One day at a time. Start now. Decide what time you will wake up tomorrow. Set your plan tonight. Commit to yourself. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. 1 hour of quiet, focused time each morning can change everything. It gives you clarity. It gives you confidence. It gives you control. And with control comes peace. Not the kind that comes from escaping, but the kind that comes from knowing you are living on purpose. Every day is a chance to get better, but only if you claim it. Only if you start with intention. Only if you stop drifting and start leading. This is your life, and it begins the moment you choose to rise early and lead it. Chapter 2. Build small, consistent habits that improve your mindset. Every day you delay small improvements. You train your mind to settle for a version of yourself you don't respect. Growth doesn't come from huge leaps. It comes from small, repeated actions that build inner strength brick by brick. You don't need to change your life in a week. You just need to start showing up for yourself in small, powerful ways. When you understand this, your mindset begins to shift. You stop chasing instant results and start building lasting discipline. You stop waiting for motivation and start acting with purpose. The mind is not a fixed thing. It changes based on what you feed it, what you expose it to, and what you demand from it daily. If you feed your mind with doubt, it will find reasons to quit. If you feed it with excuses, it will settle for mediocrity. But if you train it with small, consistent habits, habits that reinforce clarity, courage, focus, and resilience, your mind becomes your greatest asset instead of your greatest barrier. The difference between someone who thrives and someone who struggles is not raw talent. It's not luck. It's not even resources. It's the structure of their daily habits. A strong mindset is not something you're born with. It's something you earn. Every time you stick to a small discipline, you cast a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. You wake up earlier than you want to. You just became more disciplined. You sit with your thoughts instead of avoiding them. You just became more aware. You say no to a temptation that weakens you. You just became stronger. Every action sends a message to your brain. This is who I am. And the more consistent the message, the deeper the identity becomes. You do not need a massive overhaul to change your life. You need a better direction, fueled by better habits. The greatest trap people fall into is thinking that growth needs to feel dramatic. It doesn't. It needs to feel steady. It needs to feel rooted. You need to feel yourself evolving quietly, not performing loudly. There is power in quiet repetition, power in unnoticed victories. You won't always see the change at first, but you will feel it in your decisions, in your patience, in your ability to stay composed when chaos hits. Start small. Choose one habit that aligns with the mindset you want to build. Not 5, not 10. 1. The habit doesn't need to impress anyone. It needs to serve you. Maybe it's writing down 3 thoughts each morning. Maybe it's reading 1 page from a book of wisdom. Maybe it's 5 minutes of silence. Maybe it's tracking your thoughts at the end of the day. The action itself isn't what matters most. What matters is your commitment to do it every single day, without fail. That's how identity is formed. That's how mindset is sharpened. Most people don't lack ambition. They lack consistency. They start strong and fade quickly. They rely on emotion to keep them going, and when the emotion disappears, so does their effort. But if you tie your habits to your values, not your feelings, they will stick. Discipline that's built on purpose survives pressure. It survives boredom. It survives doubt. It becomes unshakable. Consistency is not about doing the same thing with robotic precision. It's about showing up daily with intention, even when life isn't convenient. Especially then, the more you practice showing up when it's hard, the more mental strength you build, and that strength will echo in every area of your life. You'll think more clearly. You'll react less. You'll handle stress with control. You'll speak with calm authority instead of insecurity. These are not personality traits. They are practiced states of mind built through habit. To build a mindset that serves you, you must challenge the one that sabotages you. And that requires awareness. Start paying attention to your inner voice. Is it helping you grow or keeping you small? Is it honest or full of lies you've repeated too often? Your habits shape this voice. If your habits reflect fear, your voice will too. If your habits reflect courage, your voice will start sounding like a leader. You don't silence negative thoughts by fighting them. You silence them by proving them wrong with consistent action. Your habits are your evidence. They tell you what you believe about yourself. If your habits are sloppy, your belief system is shaky. If your habits are sharp, your identity is rooted. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. You can push hard for a week and still collapse under pressure because you didn't build a foundation. But if you do the right things daily, even in small doses, you create a structure inside yourself that's difficult to break. You become grounded. You become reliable. You become confident, not because you talk a lot, but because you know who you are. Most people chase motivation. Leaders chase mastery. And mastery comes from repetition. It comes from building small wins into your day, so often that they become part of you. This is where confidence grows. Not from compliments, not from temporary highs, from keeping your promises, from doing what you said you would do, from creating a pattern of behavior that reflects strength and self-respect. It's not about doing big things once, it's about doing small things daily. That's what changes your mental wiring. That's what builds inner momentum. 1 page read each day becomes a library of wisdom. 1 honest reflection each night becomes a life of clarity. 1 minute of silence each morning becomes a reservoir of peace. You don't need dramatic shifts. You need repetition with purpose. Small habits become the backbone of a powerful life. When your habits are grounded in purpose, you stop needing motivation. You act because it's who you are, not because you feel like it. And this separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck. The ones who grow have built a life that reflects what they value. They don't hope for change, they create it through structure. They don't wish for clarity. They produce it through repetition. Their lives look simple from the outside, but inside they are solid. And that solidity creates strength under pressure. Start asking better questions. What habits reflect the mindset I want to build? What habits am I tolerating that weaken me? What actions am I repeating that make me doubt myself? Be brutally honest. Your life is made of patterns. Change the pattern, and everything else follows. You don't need to overhaul your entire system overnight. You need to interrupt one weak pattern and replace it with a stronger one. That's how real change begins. Build systems around your habits. Don't rely on willpower. Set your environment up to make it easier to follow through. If you want to read each morning, leave the book where you'll see it. If you want to journal, keep the notebook next to your bed. If you want to cut distractions, remove the triggers before they pull you in. Make doing the right thing easier than doing the wrong thing. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. A disciplined life is not harder. It's smarter. There will be days when your habits feel pointless, when the results seem invisible, when your effort feels wasted. Those are the days you must keep going, because that's when your mind is tested. That's when your character is shaped. Anyone can stay consistent when it's easy, but those who grow the most are the ones who persist when no one is watching. When progress is invisible but effort continues, greatness is being formed in the dark. Measure progress by your consistency, not your excitement. Your excitement will fade. That's natural, but your commitment must stay. Track your habits daily. Keep a log. Mark a win every time you follow through. Not because it's impressive, but because it's essential. Small wins stack. They become momentum. And momentum is the most powerful force for transformation. Once it builds, it carries you through resistance. People who achieve inner peace don't have fewer problems. They have better habits. Their minds are not quieter by accident. They're quieter by design. They have trained their focus, protected their energy, and eliminated habits that lead to chaos. You can do the same. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the builder of your mindset. And every small habit is a tool in your hand. Never underestimate the power of a small repeated action. A single push-up won't build strength, but one push-up every day, followed by one more, followed by one more, that changes your body and your mind. The same is true for your thoughts, your words, your decisions. You are building something whether you realize it or not. The only question is, what are you building? You want to talk like a leader. Then build the mindset of a leader first. And that starts with what you do daily, when no one's watching. Do your words match your actions? Do your habits reflect strength or comfort? Are you preparing your mind for difficulty, or hoping to avoid it? These questions expose the truth. And once you face the truth, you can change the pattern. You don't need motivation to start. You need a reason, and your reason must be bigger than your excuses. Every habit you build is a step away from weakness, and a step toward mastery. Don't waste that step. Take it with full intention. Take it with commitment, and take it today, not tomorrow. Because the longer you wait, the louder your excuses become. But the sooner you act, the stronger your mind grows. The best time to change your mindset is now. Not when things slow down. Not when you feel better. Now, start small. Stay consistent. Track your wins. Protect your focus. And keep building, even when no one sees it. Because in time your mindset will become unshakable. Your words will reflect strength. Your actions will inspire others. And your life will become proof that small habits practiced daily can create a mind built for leadership, resilience, and unstoppable growth. Chapter 3. Eliminate one distraction that weakens your daily focus. The truth is brutal. Your greatness is being delayed by one silent enemy you've chosen to tolerate every single day. There is something in your life right now that's draining your energy, stealing your focus, and slowing your progress. And until you eliminate it, you'll keep circling the same problems, replaying the same days, and wondering why nothing ever changes. Distractions don't just steal time, they steal purpose. They rob you of the clarity you need to take bold, deliberate action toward the life you want. If you don't identify the one thing that keeps breaking your focus, it will keep breaking your momentum. One distraction is all it takes to weaken your ability to dominate the day. It could be a habit, a person, an app, or even a thought pattern. Whatever it is, it has become a doorway that pulls you away from what actually matters. That doorway might look harmless. It might even feel good in the moment. But every time you step through it, you leave behind the discipline that could be building the life you say you want. That's how focus is destroyed, not with explosions, but with slow leaks. You can't build anything meaningful if your mind is constantly being hijacked. You can't make progress if you're constantly shifting your attention from one pointless thing to another. And you definitely can't grow into a powerful version of yourself if your time is being drained by things that don't bring clarity, strength, or direction. Distraction isn't harmless. It's the silent killer of discipline. It doesn't show up loud, but it shows up every day. It creeps into your routines, slips into your habits, and lives in your devices, stealing small moments that add up to entire years of wasted potential. The uncomfortable truth is that most people choose to stay distracted. They numb themselves with noise. They keep their minds busy so they don't have to face the discomfort of being still, because when you're still, you're forced to confront the real work. You're forced to admit that scrolling isn't building your future, that complaining isn't creating progress, that checking every notification isn't helping you grow. You're forced to see the gap between what you say you want and how you actually behave. And that gap is where your power either grows or dies. If you want to be focused, you have to earn it. Focus is not something you're given, it's something you protect. And you protect it by cutting off access to the one thing that breaks your rhythm the most. Think about your day. Track it honestly. What's the first thing you reach for when you wake up? What's the habit you fall into when you're mentally tired? What do you turn to when you're avoiding a task that matters? That's the distraction, and until you remove it, you will stay stuck in a cycle of effort without results. It's not enough to cut back on distractions. You need to eliminate one. Completely, not reduce it. Not control it. Remove it. Because once you remove the biggest leak, your energy can finally be redirected to the things that move your life forward. Imagine how much clarity you'd gain if you didn't reach for your phone every time your mind felt bored. Imagine how much work you could produce if your focus wasn't interrupted by every ping, buzz, or random urge. You would finally experience what it feels like to be fully locked in. You must reclaim your time, like your future depends on it, because it does. Every moment you waste is a moment you could have used to train your mind, sharpen your skills, or work toward your goals. And the longer you keep tolerating this one distraction, the more you normalize mental weakness. Distraction breeds more distraction. It weakens your attention span. It trains your brain to need constant stimulation, and it makes focused work feel harder than it really is. That's how people become trapped, stuck in a cycle of shallow action, unable to access their deeper potential. If you want to be great at anything, you need deep focus, and deep focus requires sacrifice. You can't have both endless options and razor-sharp discipline. You have to choose. You have to say no to what's easy, so you can say yes to what's essential. That's how serious people operate. They're not more talented, they're more ruthless with their attention. They don't just want results, they're willing to earn them with focus, and that starts by eliminating the biggest drain in their life. Don't make excuses for it. Don't pretend it's harmless. Don't say, "I can manage it." You've already proven you can't. If it's costing you hours of attention, if it's leading you to procrastinate, if it's constantly interrupting your momentum, it's a problem, and if you don't remove it, it will quietly keep you average. It doesn't matter how motivated you are. If your environment is full of friction, if your routines are full of noise, you will burn out your potential without even realizing it. You're not tired, you're distracted. You're not unmotivated, you're overstimulated. Your mind is not broken, it's overwhelmed. And the cure is not more hacks, more coffee, or more motivation. The cure is subtraction. Eliminate the thing that keeps pulling you away from your most important work. You already know what it is. Stop lying to yourself. If it keeps you scrolling, remove it. If it keeps you procrastinating, delete it. If it keeps you doubting, silence it. Your attention is your greatest currency. Spend it on things that compound your growth, not drain it. Rebuilding your focus means becoming aggressive about your boundaries. You don't need to be accessible to everyone, all the time. You don't need to check your phone every few minutes. You don't need to respond to everything instantly. Your value is not found in your reactions, it's found in your priorities. And your priorities are reflected in what you protect. Protect your time, protect your energy, protect your mind. That's how you build unstoppable focus. When you eliminate one distraction, you don't just gain time, you gain control. Control over your thoughts, control over your decisions, control over your future. Because now your actions are being driven by clarity, not chaos. You wake up with a plan, you move with purpose, you finish what you start. That's the difference between someone who talks about growth and someone who actually lives it. The talker keeps making room for distractions, the builder makes space for excellence. This is the real work. Not glamorizing discipline, not pretending to be focused, actually doing the hard thing, removing the source of your mental leaks. Because once you do, your mind starts to rewire itself. It becomes more still, more alert, more powerful. You start noticing details. You make sharper decisions. You follow through with intensity. This isn't hype. It's the result of simplifying your inputs, so your output can become unstoppable. If you want to be trusted, respected, and unstoppable, you have to master your focus. And to master your focus, you have to cut out what weakens it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. You've wasted enough time. You've lost enough days to habits that don't serve you. Enough excuses, enough distractions. One decision today can create a cascade of clarity for the rest of your life. Eliminate it. Cut it. Walk away from it, and don't look back. You'll thank yourself a year from now, when your life reflects strength instead of chaos. You are capable of focus deeper than anything you've ever experienced, but you'll never access it until you stop allowing your attention to be hijacked. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being precise. One clean decision, one toxic habit removed, one source of noise silenced. That's how discipline begins. And that's how power is built, not by stacking more, but by removing what doesn't belong. You've spent long enough letting this distraction interrupt your life. You've tolerated it, excused it, laughed it off. Now it's time to get serious. If you want different results, you need a different standard. No more casual discipline, no more vague intentions. Get clear, get direct, get ruthless. Because the people who rise aren't more talented, they're more focused, and they earned that focus by cutting the clutter, not by chasing comfort. There is something in your day that you must let go of. It's not a mystery. You already know what it is. You've felt the damage it causes. You've seen how it ruins your momentum. The only thing left is the courage to eliminate it. And once you do, your mind will thank you. Your results will speak for you, and your life will start to reflect the strength you always knew you had inside. It's not enough to want it. You must protect it. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. A distracted mind leads to a distracted life, but a focused mind builds a powerful one. Choose wisely. Choose now. One distraction, gone, and everything changes. Chapter 4. Speak only what builds clarity, confidence, and strength. Every word you speak is a brick, either building your future or destroying your foundation. If you want to live a powerful life, you must first master the language you use with yourself and others. The words coming out of your mouth are not just sounds, they are signals. They are instructions sent to your brain, orders given to your energy, and declarations made to the world about who you are becoming. And if your words are weak, your life will follow. Most people never realize that their life is being shaped daily by the way they speak. They casually complain, they minimize their value, they gossip, they exaggerate their problems, they speak fear into their goals, and then wonder why nothing feels strong. What you say matters. What you affirm becomes familiar. What you repeat becomes belief. If you continue to speak with uncertainty, you will begin to act with hesitation. If you use language soaked in self-doubt, your decisions will mirror that doubt. Clarity begins in your mouth. If you want a clear mind, speak with purpose. Don't speak to fill space. Speak to sharpen your focus. The more intentional your words become, the less confusion you'll tolerate. Weak language invites a foggy life. Strong language cuts through it. You cannot expect to feel empowered if your voice keeps echoing powerlessness. You cannot expect results if your words only broadcast indecision. Change what you say, and you begin to change how you show up. Confidence is not a personality trait. It's a decision that begins with your words. When you say, "I'm figuring it out," instead of "I don't know what I'm doing," you build momentum. When you say, "I'll make this happen," instead of "I hope it works," you start programming your mind to believe you are capable. That shift in language is subtle, but the effect is massive. Because your voice is not just communication, it is construction. You are building belief, or you are breaking it. And if you want unshakable belief, it must be backed by powerful language. Don't make a habit of putting yourself down even when joking. Words carry energy. Repeating the same self-deprecating lines reinforces weakness, not humility. Instead, speak from a place of self-respect. Speak what you are growing into. Speak the person you are building. Speak what brings direction, not distraction. Your voice is a tool. Use it with precision. The more disciplined your language becomes, the more aligned your life will feel. You have to protect the energy in your speech. If your words drain you, they're not serving you. Avoid using language that scatters your attention. If you're constantly saying, "I'm so busy," or "I'm overwhelmed," you start to feel disorganized before you've even started. Instead, speak in ways that ground you. Replace "I'm exhausted" with "I'm rebuilding." Replace "I don't know" with "I'm learning." This isn't pretending, this is reprogramming. You're training your brain to see solutions, not sink into problems. The same applies when you speak to others. Every word you say has weight. You are either lifting people or pulling them down. You are either helping someone grow or feeding their doubts. And you don't have to shout to speak powerfully. In fact, the most powerful people speak with calm certainty. Their voice doesn't beg for approval. It carries authority because it's grounded in truth. They don't speak to impress, they speak to express conviction. To build strength through speech, you must remove unnecessary noise. Stop talking about things that don't develop you. Stop wasting words on drama, gossip, and opinions that go nowhere. Every time you engage in mindless talk, you lower the standard of your environment. Discipline in speech means eliminating what weakens your mind. You don't need to say everything you think. You need to say only what serves your mission. That's how clarity is built, by filtering your language through your values. Start speaking in a way that keeps you focused. Talk about goals, actions, and ideas. Avoid spiraling into emotional loops, where you repeat your struggles over and over. Acknowledge them, yes, but then speak what you are going to do about them. Speak forward, speak movement, speak strength. Every sentence should move you closer to your target. When your words align with your goals, your energy follows. You cannot keep saying things like, "I always mess this up," or "I'm not good enough," and expect a confident mind. Even if you feel uncertain, your words should lean into strength. That doesn't mean lying. It means choosing language that empowers action. Instead of "I can't do this," say "This is going to challenge me, but I'm ready to rise." Instead of "I'm nervous," say "I'm prepared." These small changes shift your mental posture, and over time, that shift becomes permanent. You need to raise the standard of your internal dialogue. The conversations you have with yourself matter more than anything anyone else says to you. If your self-talk is full of hesitation, second-guessing, and shame, you will carry that energy into everything you do. But if your self-talk is calm, direct, and focused, you will carry yourself with composure no matter the situation. Speak to yourself like someone you deeply respect. Speak to yourself like you are already on your way. This doesn't mean forcing positivity. It means replacing noise with clarity. It means choosing accuracy over exaggeration. If you're struggling, don't say everything is falling apart. Say "This moment is hard, but I have what it takes to get through it." If you made a mistake, don't say "I'm a failure." Say "I made a poor choice, and I'm going to fix it." That kind of language is strength in action. That's how leaders talk to themselves. Not with fluff, but with firm, forward-moving truth. Most people never realize how many times a day they sabotage themselves with their own mouth. They say things without thinking. They echo other people's doubts. They repeat the same limitations without questioning them. And then they wonder why their mindset is scattered and their results are inconsistent. If you want consistency, start with consistency in speech. Speak what supports your standards. Speak what aligns with your actions. Speak what reminds you of who you're becoming. Let silence be your default when you have nothing valuable to say. Not every situation needs your input. Not every moment requires your opinion. Speak when your words can bring clarity. Speak when your voice can bring strength. And when you speak, mean what you say. That's how you build trust with yourself. That's how your words begin to carry more weight, when you stop using them loosely. When you speak only what builds clarity, confidence, and strength, you become the kind of person others listen to. You stand out, not by being louder, but by being sharper. You don't waste words. You don't shrink your value. You don't speak out of fear. You speak to move forward. You speak because your voice reflects your vision. And when your voice reflects your vision, your presence becomes unforgettable. It takes discipline to speak powerfully. It means you stop saying what's easy and start saying what's needed. You start replacing doubt with direction. You stop repeating the same complaints and start declaring solutions. You drop the "I'm just saying" habit and start owning every word. Because powerful speech isn't about sounding good, it's about staying aligned. Aligned with your goals, aligned with your actions, aligned with your highest standards. If you want others to respect your voice, respect it first. Don't water it down to fit in. Don't mimic people who don't live with discipline. Don't throw away your integrity for applause. Speak with purpose. Speak from strength. Speak from truth. You don't need to yell to be powerful. You need to mean what you say, and say only what builds something better. That's what changes lives, yours included. Your voice has the power to lift or to limit, to lead or to follow, to empower or to confuse. Every sentence you speak is a vote for the life you're creating. So speak like someone who is done playing small. Speak like someone who is building something real. Speak like someone who knows where they're going and refuses to be shaken by noise. Because when your voice aligns with your vision, your life will start to follow. No more guessing. No more doubting. Speak clarity. Speak confidence. Speak strength. And watch everything around you rise to meet that standard. Chapter 5. Track your progress daily with brutal, honest reflection. If you want to change your life, you have to measure it. Not with fluff, not with filters, but with brutal, honest, daily reflection that forces you to see exactly who you are and how far you've come. There's no transformation without truth. And truth doesn't come from fantasizing about your goals. It comes from confronting your habits, your choices, and your results every single day. Most people run from the mirror. Winners study it. They observe their behavior like scientists. They track their progress like their future depends on it, because it does. You will never become the person you're capable of being if you keep hiding from your reality. It's easy to say you're trying. It's comfortable to believe that effort alone is enough. But if you don't have the discipline to check your progress daily, you're just guessing your way through life. That's not how growth works. That's not how discipline is forged. You need to know specifically, clearly, without excuse, what you did today that made you stronger, and what you did today that kept you stuck. You don't need a fancy app. You don't need a perfect journal. You need honesty. You need the kind of raw, uncomfortable truth that exposes your patterns. What time did you wake up? How long did you waste on your phone? Did you stick to your plan, or did you break the promise you made to yourself? Did you show up fully, or did you go through the motions? These are not casual questions. They are the checkpoints that separate the driven from the distracted. Tracking your progress isn't about guilt. It's about clarity. It gives you a map. It shows you what's working. It reveals what's broken. Without it, you're just reacting to life instead of taking control of it. When you track your actions, your focus sharpens. You stop living in hope and start living in awareness. You become the kind of person who knows exactly where they stand, and that alone gives you power. Most people don't reflect because they're afraid of what they'll find. But the people who grow the fastest are the ones who are the most honest with themselves. They're not afraid to say, "I wasted today." They're not afraid to admit when they fell short. Why? Because they know reflection isn't about shame. It's about correction. It's about being real enough to say, "That wasn't my best," and strong enough to ask, "What will I do differently tomorrow?" If you don't track it, you can't fix it. You'll keep repeating the same mistakes without even noticing. You'll drift back into bad habits while telling yourself you're still on the right path. You'll convince yourself you're doing everything you can, when in reality you're doing just enough to stay busy, but not enough to actually grow. That's the danger of living without reflection. You create stories to protect your ego instead of systems to build your discipline. Brutal honesty is rare. It's not popular, but it's the reason some people accelerate their progress while others stagnate. When you have the courage to write down exactly what you did today, without sugarcoating it, you start to develop an unbreakable mindset. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on data. You stop chasing emotions and start building evidence. That's where real confidence comes from. Confidence built on lies is fragile. Confidence built on truth is unshakable. Daily tracking isn't about being perfect, it's about being precise. It's not about punishing yourself, it's about making adjustments. Did you plan your day and execute, or did you get pulled in every direction by distraction? Did you follow your diet, or break it the moment discomfort hit? Did you work on your goals, or did you avoid the hard parts? Write it down. All of it. The good, the bad, and the uncomfortable. Because if you don't track it, you can't improve it. It's not enough to have goals. You need proof. Proof that you're moving. Proof that you're growing. Proof that you're not just talking about the life you want, you're earning it. And that proof shows up when you hold yourself accountable with precision. You don't need to be loud about it. You don't need to post it online. This is for you. This is your private scoreboard, your personal truth. And that truth will either reveal your progress or expose your excuses. Every evening, you should be sitting down with yourself for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it takes, and asking the hard questions. Did I live like I meant it today? Did I act with discipline? Did I let fear decide for me? Did I chase growth, or did I chase comfort? What did I do that made me proud? What did I do that disappointed me? These questions burn, but they also build. They force you to evolve. They stop you from lying to yourself. When you don't track your behavior, you allow small compromises to slip in unnoticed. You start saying things like, "It's just one day," or "I'll get back on track tomorrow." But those days pile up. Those slips become your new standard. And before you know it, you're not even close to the person you said you wanted to be. Brutal honesty cuts through that. It exposes the drift. It gives you a chance to course correct before it's too late. Growth is not mysterious. It's mathematical. You either did the work today, or you didn't. You either kept the promise, or you broke it. You either progressed or regressed. Tracking forces you to see that clearly. It doesn't leave room for illusions. And that clarity is what allows you to build momentum. Because once you know exactly what you did right and what you did wrong, you know exactly what to repeat and what to eliminate. Don't make this complicated. Don't wait for the perfect system. Grab a notebook and start writing. Write the truth, not the version that makes you feel better. Did you show up for your workout or skip it? Did you give your best effort at work or just try to survive the day? Did you invest in your goals or waste hours numbing your discomfort? Be precise. Be honest. Be ruthless with your self-reflection. Because the more honest you are, the faster you grow. Progress is not always exciting. It's often boring, repetitive, and quiet. But when you track it, you make it real. You start to see patterns. You begin to predict your own behavior. You catch yourself before you fall. You recognize the traps before you walk into them. That's what awareness gives you. It gives you leverage. It allows you to lead yourself with clarity instead of being controlled by impulses. Stop pretending you're further along than you are. Stop hoping things will magically improve. You don't need luck. You need data. You need to be able to look back and say, this is what I did this week. This is where I failed. This is where I dominated. That's what keeps you grounded. That's what removes the guesswork. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. Professionals track, amateurs assume. Every person who has transformed their life started by confronting themselves daily. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They didn't wait to feel inspired. They built a habit of reflection, and that habit became their secret weapon. Because while the world was getting distracted, they were collecting data. They were learning. They were evolving. They weren't trying to look good. They were trying to get better. If you want a life that feels strong, focused, and meaningful, it begins with the decision to track yourself honestly. No one is coming to do it for you. No one cares about your excuses. You either grow or you don't. You either hold yourself to a higher standard or you drift into mediocrity. And that standard must be visible. It must be measured. It must be recorded. Otherwise, you will never know how far you've really come or how far you've drifted. You don't need more motivation. You need more truth. And truth comes from tracking. You need to look your life in the face every single night and say, did I show up for myself today? That's the most powerful question you can ask. And if the answer is no, you don't get angry. You get better. You use that truth to adjust. You use that reflection to realign. You use that honesty to fuel your discipline. Eventually, tracking becomes a habit. And that habit becomes your backbone. It becomes the reason you don't collapse under pressure. It becomes the reason you keep improving while others plateau. Because while most people are blind to their own patterns, you are fully aware. You see what's working, you correct what's not, and you keep building, day by day, brick by brick, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. So if you're serious about your growth, track it. Not once a week, not when it's convenient, but every single day. Track with honesty, reflect with intensity, and correct with commitment. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you stay honest. That's how you stay focused. And that's how you win. Not by hoping, not by guessing, but by knowing, by proving, by living with the kind of self-respect that only comes from facing yourself, without filters, without lies, and without fear. Chapter 6. Choose your actions based on purpose, not emotions. Every time you act out of emotion, you give your power away. You hand the steering wheel of your life to something temporary, something unstable, something reactive. But when you act from purpose, you take control. You move with intention. You build a life based on direction, not impulse. That's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who break through. Purpose gives you clarity when emotions try to blur your vision. It reminds you who you are when feelings try to pull you in 10 different directions. Emotion wants you to react. Purpose demands that you respond. And there's a world of difference between the two. A reaction is automatic, but a response is deliberate. A reaction feels good in the moment, but a response builds something real. Purpose doesn't always feel good in the short term, but it always strengthens you in the long term. The more you train yourself to act from purpose, the less you'll be controlled by moods that change like the wind. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're acting from purpose. Every time you stay calm instead of lashing out, you're choosing strength over weakness. Every time you stick to your plan instead of letting frustration dictate your next move, you're proving to yourself that you are not a slave to your emotions. You are a leader of your own life. And leaders are not ruled by how they feel. They are ruled by what they stand for. Most people wait until they feel ready to act. They wait until they feel inspired. But those who win in life don't wait for emotions to line up. They build habits that align with their purpose and execute no matter what mood shows up. Purpose is the compass. Emotions are just the weather. You don't change your destination because it's cloudy today. You keep walking forward because your path is clear. Purpose doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It's quiet, steady, consistent, but it's always there. And when you live by it, you gain something. Emotions can never give you peace. Because when you act with purpose, even the hard days feel meaningful. You might feel tired, but you don't feel lost. You might feel pressure, but you don't feel regret. Because you know that what you're doing matters. You know that your actions are aligned with something deeper than momentary satisfaction. You have to decide what matters most to you, and then you have to act like it. Not once in a while, every day. You have to make decisions based on who you want to become, not how you feel in a temporary state. That means saying no when it would feel easier to say yes. That means choosing work when your emotions are begging you to scroll. That means keeping your mouth shut when anger wants to speak. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know that every action is a vote for the future you're building. Living by purpose is not about ignoring your emotions. It's about not being ruled by them. Feelings are data, not commands. They can inform you, but they shouldn't control you. Anger might alert you to injustice, but it shouldn't dictate your behavior. Fear might warn you of risk, but it shouldn't paralyze you. Sadness might show you where you need healing, but it shouldn't become your identity. When you learn to feel without being led, you become dangerous in the best way. The world is full of people reacting emotionally to everything. They quit when it's hard. They argue when they feel slighted. They procrastinate when things don't feel exciting. And they wonder why nothing in their life changes. If you want to live differently, you have to act differently. You have to build a gap between stimulus and response. You have to pause. You have to breathe. You have to ask, what would the strongest version of me do right now? And then you do that, no matter how you feel. Purpose gives you stability. It gives you a standard. It gives you a reason to keep showing up when nothing feels easy. You're not chasing highs anymore. You're building a foundation. And that foundation is what keeps you grounded when emotions try to throw you off course. You no longer need every day to feel good. You need every day to be aligned. And when it is, you go to bed with self-respect. You wake up with direction. You stop being reactive and start being relentless. Some days you will feel lazy. Some days you will feel irritated. Some days you will feel like everything is working against you. But purpose doesn't care about your mood. It cares about your mission. When you anchor your actions to that mission, you build a life that's resilient, not emotional. You don't crumble under pressure. You don't chase instant relief. You stay focused. You stay driven. You stay committed to what actually matters. It's easy to act when everything feels good. The challenge is to act with strength when everything feels off. That's the test. That's the difference maker. Anyone can move when they're motivated. But those who lead themselves, who discipline themselves, who regulate their impulses and commit to their standards, those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who separate themselves from the average. Because they don't wait for the perfect moment, they create it by acting with purpose, regardless of how they feel. You will never regret acting with integrity. You will never regret choosing clarity over chaos. You will never regret staying grounded when emotions tried to pull you into reaction. Those decisions, repeated daily, form the backbone of a powerful life. You don't build a legacy with emotional outbursts. You build it with consistent, intentional, value-driven actions. And that takes self-awareness. It takes maturity. It takes brutal honesty about the gap between how you feel and how you need to act. Sometimes your emotions will scream louder than your purpose whispers. That's when you need to lean in. You need to get quiet. You need to remember why you started. You need to remind yourself that discipline isn't about denying yourself, it's about directing yourself. You are not here to be ruled by urges. You are not here to live on autopilot. You are here to execute with clarity, to act with strength, to move with purpose. When you choose actions based on purpose, you become reliable to yourself, to your mission, to the people who count on you. You no longer break promises because of how you feel. You no longer chase comfort at the expense of your calling. You are steady, focused, clear. That's rare. And in a world addicted to reacting, rare is powerful. Emotion might feel real, but it's not always true. It might feel urgent, but it's not always wise. Purpose is different. It's not based on feelings, it's based on values. It's based on who you said you want to become when you were thinking clearly. So the next time emotion tries to hijack your actions, pause. Ask yourself, does this choice reflect the person I'm building? If the answer is no, don't do it. Redirect, realign, and move with intention. Build your day around what matters most. Anchor your habits to your highest values. Let your routines be driven by commitment, not convenience. Let your decisions come from discipline, not drama. Because the person you want to become is not created by what you feel like doing. It's created by what you choose to do when feelings try to interfere. This is not about being robotic. It's about being responsible. You still feel everything. You just don't act on everything. You use emotion to understand yourself. You use purpose to guide yourself. You don't suppress your feelings. You observe them, you learn from them, and then you choose from a higher place. A place of vision, a place of clarity, a place that keeps you on the path, even when every part of you wants to drift. The strongest people in the world are not those who never feel anything. They're the ones who feel everything and still move with intention. They're the ones who have trained their mind to act with purpose, no matter what emotion is present. They're the ones who rise, not because life is easy, but because their actions are rooted in something deeper than emotion. So if you want to level up, don't just manage your time, master your choices. Don't just track your goals, align your behavior. Don't just feel your emotions, understand them without letting them control you. And above all, move like someone with a mission. Act like someone with a standard. Live like someone who refuses to be swayed by mood, because you know your purpose is far greater than any feeling trying to distract you. Chapter 7. Push through discomfort to grow stronger every day. You will never know how strong you really are until you stop running from discomfort and start meeting it head-on every single day. Growth doesn't come from what's easy. It comes from doing what most people avoid. It comes from waking up when you'd rather sleep in. From finishing what you started when your mind tells you to quit. From staying focused when distractions try to steal your attention. That's the path of strength. That's the road to becoming the person you were meant to be. Every time you push through resistance, you send a signal to your mind, I will not back down. I will not surrender. I am in control. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally if you learn to respect it. Most people want change, but they refuse to face what makes them uncomfortable. They want to grow, but they avoid the pressure that forges growth. You can't become unbreakable by staying in comfort zones. Comfort is where dreams go to die. It's where momentum fades and potential rots. But every moment you choose to lean into pain instead of running from it, you separate yourself from the masses. You choose to evolve. You have to understand one thing: real growth is built on discomfort. It's the struggle that shapes you. It's the pressure that forces you to develop strength you didn't know you had. Easy days won't make you tougher. Smooth paths won't test your resolve. The discomfort you're trying to avoid is the exact weight you need to lift to become who you claim you want to be. No one becomes great by avoiding effort. They become great by showing up and grinding through the uncomfortable, day after day. Most people want results, but they don't want to do what it takes. They want the reward without the effort. But here's the truth: effort comes first. Growth demands discomfort. Success demands sacrifice. And power is earned through pain, not because pain is glamorous, but because it's honest. Pain shows you where you're weak. Discomfort reveals where your limits are. And if you're serious about rising, then those are the exact places you need to work on. No shortcuts, no tricks, just effort. Real, consistent, uncomfortable effort. You don't get stronger by doing what's easy. You get stronger by facing what you fear. You grow when you step into situations that make you feel exposed, unsure, vulnerable. You grow when you stay disciplined in moments where giving up feels easier. You grow when you keep your promises to yourself even when no one's watching. That's the kind of strength that compounds. That's the kind of toughness that can't be faked. When you stop running from discomfort, you start building the kind of character that nothing can break. Every day you wake up with a choice. You can do what's comfortable and stay where you are, or you can do what's difficult and build who you could be. And that choice will shape your life more than anything else. You don't need to make giant leaps. You don't need to flip your world upside down overnight. But you do need to get uncomfortable. You need to do something hard, something inconvenient, something that pushes you a little further than yesterday. And then you need to do it again tomorrow. That's how you build strength. That's how you grow every single day. Discomfort is not punishment. It's preparation. It's preparing you for the life you say you want. It's sharpening your focus, toughening your mind, forging your discipline. When you avoid discomfort, you stay soft. But when you face it, you become unshakable. And the world cannot break someone who has trained themselves to keep going, especially when it hurts. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act despite the resistance. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to execute regardless of emotion. The discomfort you're feeling is the gap between your current self and your potential. The only way to close that gap is to push through it. Every excuse you make keeps you small. Every challenge you embrace makes you stronger. And that strength is built one uncomfortable decision at a time. Start training your mind to stop avoiding hard things. When something feels difficult, don't flinch. Lean in. Let discomfort become your trigger for action, not your signal to retreat. Every time you feel resistance, see it as a cue to keep going. That resistance is proof that you're doing something meaningful. It means you're growing. It means you're moving forward. It means you're building the version of yourself that you've always wanted to become. Pain is temporary, but the power you build from pushing through it lasts forever. The soreness fades. The fatigue disappears, but the discipline, the confidence, the mental toughness that stays, that becomes a part of who you are. And the more often you face discomfort, the less power it has over you. It stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a familiar friend. Something that signals progress, something that tells you you're still leveling up. You will never regret doing the hard thing. You will never look back and say, "I wish I had taken the easy way out." You'll always be proud of the days you fought through doubt, exhaustion and fear. Those are the days that build your legacy. The days where it hurt but you didn't quit. The days where you were tested and you chose to rise. Those are the moments that define you. Not the days when everything was perfect, but the days you showed up anyway. When discomfort shows up, you have two options: shrink or strengthen. You can back off and stay the same, or you can lean in and grow. But you can't have both. You can't grow and stay comfortable. You can't build strength without struggle. You have to choose. And if you want to become unshakable, there is only one right choice. Step forward. Keep moving. Embrace the discomfort and let it shape you. There's no secret formula, no magic strategy. It's repetition, it's grit, it's relentless effort in the face of adversity. It's making the decision every day to do the work whether you feel like it or not. That's what builds real strength. Not flashy motivation, not temporary hype, but daily decisions that prove you're serious. Discomfort becomes your training ground. And the more you train in it, the more you dominate in life. Push through the resistance. Push through the doubt. Push through the fatigue. There is power on the other side. There is growth waiting for you, but only if you earn it. Every time you think about quitting and choose to continue, you are becoming more. Every time you take another step, you're building the kind of resilience that nobody can take from you. That's how you grow stronger. Not once in a while, but every single day. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. You're not always going to feel strong. You're not always going to feel ready. But if you keep showing up and keep doing the work, you will build strength that nothing can shake. That's what matters. Not how fast you move, but how committed you are to never stop moving. That is what separates winners from quitters. And you get to decide every day which one you're going to be. Let today be the day you stop avoiding discomfort and start welcoming it. Let today be the day you shift from making excuses to making progress. Let today be the start of something real, something powerful. You're not just here to exist. You're here to evolve. You're here to get stronger. You're here to build something that lasts. And it all starts by pushing through the discomfort in front of you. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until it's convenient. Start now. Push now. Grow now. Because every moment you spend avoiding discomfort is a moment you could have spent becoming unstoppable. And you deserve better than that. You deserve to feel powerful. You deserve to feel proud. And the only way to earn that is to face the discomfort and rise above it, every single day. Chapter 8. Protect your energy by saying no without guilt. You don't owe anyone your energy, and the moment you realize that, you'll start to protect your peace and your purpose like never before. Saying no is not a weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's an act of self-respect, self-discipline, and self-awareness. People who fail to protect their energy allow others to drain them, to divert their attention, and to deplete their emotional and physical resources. But when you say no, you reclaim your power. You make a choice that keeps you aligned with your values, with your goals, and with the vision you've set for your life. The truth is, you can't give your best to everything and everyone. There's not enough energy in the world to satisfy every request, every demand, and every obligation that comes your way. And if you try to please everyone, you'll end up pleasing no one, not even yourself. The real power comes in the ability to choose where to direct your energy. And that begins with learning the art of saying no. Saying no doesn't mean you're being selfish. It means you're being intentional. It means you are prioritizing the things that matter most to you, your health, your passions, your commitments. It means you're taking control of your life and not letting the expectations of others dictate how you show up. You are not obligated to do everything that is asked of you. In fact, saying no can be one of the most empowering decisions you make. When you say no to distractions, you say yes to your future. When you say no to things that drain you, you create space for the things that fuel you. The challenge is that many people struggle with guilt when they say no. They feel like they're letting others down or being rude. But that guilt is rooted in a fear of disappointing someone else. The truth is, you can't live your life trying to meet everyone else's expectations. You have to live your life based on what's best for you. And that means setting boundaries that protect your time, your mental space, and your emotional well-being. Saying no isn't about rejecting others. It's about rejecting anything that interferes with your personal growth and peace of mind. To say no without guilt, you first have to understand that your time and energy are your most valuable resources. They are finite. And once you recognize that, you'll begin to make decisions with more clarity. You'll understand that every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goals or values, you're sacrificing something more important. Your energy is a currency, and every time you give it away, you lose a little bit of yourself. So protect it, guard it fiercely, and don't let anyone make you feel bad for doing so. One of the most important things you can do to protect your energy is to know your limits. When you understand your boundaries, physically, emotionally, and mentally, you can make better decisions about where to direct your energy. This means being honest with yourself about what you can and cannot handle. It means knowing when you need rest, when you need focus, and when you need to say no. The clearer you are about your own limits, the easier it will be to make choices that serve your best interests. Another critical aspect of protecting your energy is learning to trust yourself. Many people struggle with saying no because they doubt their own instincts. They worry about being seen as rude, selfish, or uncaring. But the truth is, when you say no to something that doesn't align with your needs or values, you are acting in your own best interest. And when you act in your best interest, you are better able to show up for others. You cannot give what you do not have. If you're constantly running on empty, you won't have anything left to give to the people you care about. But when you protect your energy, you can give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. There is also an emotional cost to constantly saying yes. Every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your values or goals, you are betraying your own priorities. This creates inner conflict and stress. You begin to feel resentment, frustration, and burnout. Over time, these negative emotions will affect your overall well-being and productivity. But when you say no with confidence and clarity, you eliminate that inner turmoil. You release the guilt and the tension, and you make space for the things that truly matter. Protecting your energy also means learning to say no without explanation. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your boundaries. You don't have to justify your decisions to others. Your reasons are your own, and if someone can't respect that, that's their issue, not yours. Saying no doesn't require a lengthy justification or an apology. It's enough to simply say, I can't commit to that right now, or that doesn't fit into my schedule. Your energy is valuable, and you don't need to convince anyone of that. It's also important to recognize that saying no is a form of self-care. Just as you would protect your physical health, you must protect your mental and emotional well-being. Saying no to things that drain you or don't serve your purpose is a form of self-respect. It's an act of honoring your own needs. And when you practice self-care in this way, you become stronger, more focused, and more resilient. You are able to give your best to the people and projects that truly matter, and you are able to live your life with intention. Another challenge that comes with saying no is the fear of missing out, FOMO. In today's world, there's a constant pressure to do more, be more, and have more. But you have to recognize that not everything is worth your time and energy. There will always be opportunities, but you must decide which ones align with your goals and values. The fear of missing out can make you feel like you have to say yes to everything, but in reality, saying yes to everything often leads to burnout and overwhelm. Saying no is a way to focus on what truly matters, without getting distracted by the noise of everything else. One powerful way to protect your energy is to get clear on your priorities. When you know what truly matters to you, saying no becomes easier. You'll be able to quickly identify what aligns with your values and what doesn't. And when you're clear on your priorities, you'll be able to make decisions confidently, without second-guessing yourself. Saying no becomes a natural part of your decision-making process, and you'll begin to notice how much more energy and focus you have for the things that matter most. At the end of the day, saying no is not just about protecting your energy, it's about protecting your future. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you create space for the things that will move you closer to your goals. You prioritize your long-term well-being over short-term comfort. You protect your peace, your focus, and your purpose. And when you do that consistently, you'll find that you have more energy, more clarity, and more strength to take on whatever comes your way. So start saying no without guilt. Protect your energy, honor your boundaries, and never forget that you are worthy of your own time and attention. When you start saying no to the things that don't serve you, you'll begin to see how much more you can accomplish, how much more peace you can have, and how much more power you can tap into. The energy you protect is the energy that will propel you forward. Chapter 9. Learn from every mistake without blaming anyone else. The only real failure in life is refusing to learn from your mistakes. The moment you start blaming others for your missteps, you rob yourself of the growth and wisdom that come from taking full responsibility. Mistakes are inevitable. They're part of the journey, part of the process, and part of what makes you stronger. But when you refuse to own them and learn from them, you make yourself a prisoner of your own past, and you stunt your growth in the process. The truth is, the best way to move forward, to improve, and to achieve success is to learn from every mistake you make. This doesn't mean wallowing in regret or self-pity. It doesn't mean turning every misstep into a pity party. It means taking a hard look at what went wrong, analyzing it with brutal honesty, and using that lesson to become better. Every failure is an opportunity in disguise, a chance to grow, to improve, and to build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. When you make a mistake, your first instinct might be to point fingers. You may be tempted to blame others, blame circumstances, or blame anything other than yourself. It's easy to do, right? After all, it takes the heat off of you. But here's the thing, as long as you're pointing fingers, you're never going to improve. Blaming others doesn't help you grow. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of victimhood. It convinces you that you have no control over your own actions and decisions. And that, my friend, is where your power lies, in taking control of your own actions, regardless of what happens around you. You have the ability to respond to every situation in a way that either empowers you or disempowers you. When you take full responsibility for your mistakes, you take back control. You choose to learn, to grow, and to move forward with more wisdom than before. No one can take that power away from you unless you give it away. The key to unlocking your potential lies in your ability to take ownership of your actions, no matter how painful it might be. The process of learning from your mistakes isn't always easy. It requires you to confront your flaws, to look at your decisions with unflinching honesty, and to accept that you didn't always make the right choice. But that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to acknowledge those mistakes, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones to something better. When you refuse to blame others, you stop playing the victim. You stop allowing external circumstances to dictate how you feel or how you behave. Instead, you take responsibility for your own life. This doesn't mean that everything is always your fault. It just means that you recognize that your actions, whether positive or negative, are what ultimately shape your life. The power lies in your choices. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the world is against you, that things are never going to go right, and that you're stuck in a cycle of misfortune. But when you take responsibility, you start seeing the situation for what it truly is, an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. It's important to note that taking responsibility doesn't mean beating yourself up. It doesn't mean dwelling on your mistakes or allowing guilt to consume you. There's a fine line between accepting responsibility and self-flagellation. The goal is not to punish yourself for your missteps. It's to understand why something happened, extract the lesson, and move forward stronger and wiser. The key is to approach every mistake with curiosity rather than judgment. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? How can I make sure I don't repeat this mistake again? When you start learning from your mistakes in this way, you shift your mindset. Instead of seeing failure as something to be feared or avoided, you begin to see it as a necessary part of the journey. Each mistake is a lesson waiting to be learned, and the more you learn, the more you grow. This mindset shift is what separates those who rise from the ashes from those who stay stuck in the mud. Successful people don't fear failure, they embrace it. They understand that the path to success is paved with mistakes, and every failure brings them one step closer to their goals. Learning from mistakes also means being honest with yourself about your own weaknesses and limitations. It requires you to let go of your ego, to stop pretending that you have it all figured out, and to accept that you don't always have all the answers. This can be incredibly humbling, but it's also liberating. The moment you stop pretending to be perfect and start owning your imperfections is the moment you begin to unlock your true potential. Only when you acknowledge your weaknesses can you take the necessary steps to address them. You might be wondering, what if the mistake was someone else's fault? This is a question that many people ask, and it's a valid one. But here's the reality. Even if someone else's actions caused the situation, you still have control over how you respond to it. You may not be able to control the actions of others, but you can always control your own response. That's where your power lies. Instead of blaming others, focus on what you can control, your mindset, your actions, and your next steps. When you stop pointing fingers and start taking ownership of your own actions, you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your own success. Another powerful way to learn from mistakes is to make it a habit. Don't wait for big, life-altering mistakes to learn valuable lessons. Start with the small mistakes you make every day. Maybe it's losing your temper with someone, missing a deadline, or letting a bad habit slip back in. These small mistakes are just as important as the big ones because they offer the same opportunity for growth. The more you practice self-reflection and accountability, the better you get at learning from your mistakes, no matter how big or small. A big part of learning from mistakes is not allowing them to define you. It's easy to get caught up in the negative emotions that come with failure, guilt, shame, frustration, but it's important not to let those feelings dictate your self-worth. Mistakes are not who you are. They are simply experiences you've had that offer valuable lessons. You are not defined by your failures, but by your ability to rise from them, to learn from them, and to become a better person in the process. When you learn from your mistakes, you also build resilience. Life isn't going to go smoothly all the time. You will encounter challenges, obstacles, and setbacks. But the more you learn from your mistakes, the more you develop the strength to face those challenges with confidence. Each time you fall and get back up, you get stronger. Each time you learn from a mistake, you become more adaptable, more flexible, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. The key to learning from mistakes without blaming anyone else is self-reflection. Take time every day or every week to reflect on your actions, your decisions, and your results. Ask yourself what worked, what didn't, and why. Be brutally honest with yourself. If you made a mistake, own it. If you could have done something differently, recognize it. But most importantly, learn from it. Use your mistakes as stepping stones toward becoming the best version of yourself. If you want to succeed in life, you have to embrace mistakes as a part of the process. Stop fearing them, stop blaming others for them, and start learning from them. The faster you can do this, the faster you'll grow, the stronger you'll become, and the closer you'll get to your goals. The only real failure is refusing to learn, refusing to evolve, and refusing to take responsibility for your actions. Once you accept that mistakes are part of the game, and once you embrace them with a growth mindset, there's nothing that can stop you. Chapter 10. Master your schedule by planning your day. You are the architect of your day, the master of your time, and the person responsible for the direction your life will take. You can either let life happen to you, or you can take control and make your days work for you. The key to success, the secret to living a fulfilled life, lies in how well you plan and execute your daily actions. Every hour of every day is an opportunity to get closer to your goals, to make progress, and to achieve the results you desire. But that opportunity only exists if you make the most of your time. If you don't plan your day will control you. When you master your schedule, you master your life. Planning your day is not just about filling in blocks of time or checking off tasks from a to-do list. It's about creating a roadmap for your day that aligns with your values, your priorities, and your long-term vision. It's about taking deliberate action and making sure that every moment is spent in a way that moves you closer to where you want to go. Without a plan, you are simply drifting, reacting to whatever comes your way, and leaving your success to chance. But when you plan your day with intention and purpose, you put yourself in the driver's seat of your life. The first step in mastering your schedule is understanding your priorities. What matters most to you? What are the things you need to do today to move you forward? You cannot afford to waste time on things that don't align with your goals. The difference between successful people and everyone else is that successful people know what their priorities are, and they make sure to put them first. If you don't plan your day around your priorities, you'll end up spending your time on distractions that won't move you any closer to your goals. Every morning, take a few minutes to reflect on your goals and decide what you want to accomplish that day. Don't just go through the motions. Take control of your time. Write down your top 3 or 5 most important tasks for the day. These should be the things that will make the biggest impact on your progress. Don't overwhelm yourself with a long list of to-dos. Focus on the tasks that matter most, and commit to completing them with focus and dedication. The beauty of this approach is that it keeps you from being distracted by things that aren't important. By narrowing your focus, you create a laser-sharp sense of purpose that drives you throughout the day. Planning your day doesn't just involve your work tasks, it also involves taking care of yourself. You cannot be effective in your work or your life if you neglect your health, your mind, or your energy. That means scheduling time for exercise, for rest, for personal development, and for reflection. The most successful people are not those who burn themselves out by working endlessly without taking breaks. They are the ones who understand the importance of balance, of scheduling time for everything that fuels their body, mind, and soul. When you plan your day, be sure to include moments of self-care. Your energy is your most valuable resource, and if you don't protect it, nothing else will matter. Once you've identified your priorities, the next step is to break your day into manageable chunks. Time blocking is a powerful method for organizing your day. It involves setting aside specific blocks of time for specific tasks. For example, you might reserve the first 2 hours of your day for deep work on your most important project. Then you might set aside 30 minutes for a quick meeting or phone call. After that, schedule time for lunch, followed by more work time, a break for exercise, and so on. Time blocking is a game changer because it eliminates the temptation to multitask or to waste time on unimportant tasks. By dedicating specific periods to specific activities, you make sure that each task gets the focus and attention it deserves. But time blocking alone is not enough. You also need to guard your time fiercely. Your time is a finite resource, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. That means saying no to distractions. In today's world, it's easy to get pulled in 1,000 directions. People will ask for your attention, emails will demand your response, and social media will try to steal your focus. But if you want to achieve your goals, you need to protect your time like a warrior guards his most valuable possession. Set boundaries for when you will check your email, how often you will check your phone, and when you will engage with others. Your time is too valuable to be given away on a whim. The most successful people are the ones who learn how to protect their time fiercely and say no without guilt. Another key element of mastering your schedule is learning to be flexible. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. You may encounter setbacks, distractions, or unexpected events that force you to adjust. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is their ability to adapt. Flexibility doesn't mean throwing your entire plan out the window when something goes wrong. It means adjusting your plan and staying committed to your goals despite the obstacles. Flexibility allows you to roll with the punches and keep moving forward, no matter what comes your way. As you master your schedule, you'll begin to notice a powerful shift in your mindset. Instead of reacting to life, you'll start taking proactive control. You won't be scrambling to get things done at the last minute because you've already planned for success. You'll stop feeling overwhelmed by the demands on your time because you've learned to prioritize what matters. And most importantly, you'll feel a deep sense of accomplishment as you look back at your day and see that you made progress toward your goals. But planning your day is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing process of refinement and improvement. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on how well you followed your schedule. What went well? What could have been improved? What did you learn from the day's experience? This daily reflection helps you fine-tune your planning process and make adjustments to your approach. The more you reflect on your days, the more you'll learn about what works for you and what doesn't. And with each lesson, you'll become even more effective in how you plan your time. One of the biggest obstacles people face when trying to master their schedule is the feeling of being too busy. It's easy to think that if we don't have a packed schedule, we're not being productive. But busyness does not equal effectiveness. In fact, being overly busy can lead to burnout and a lack of focus. The goal isn't to fill every minute of your day with tasks, it's to ensure that the tasks you do choose to take on are the ones that truly move the needle. When you plan your day with intention, you'll find that you have more time for the things that matter, more time for rest, and more time for pursuing your dreams. Mastering your schedule is not something that happens overnight. It's a skill that requires practice, discipline, and constant refinement. But once you commit to it, you'll start to see the incredible results it can produce in your life. Time is the most valuable resource we have, and how you use it determines the quality of your life. When you master your schedule, you take control of your destiny. Every day becomes a stepping stone toward the life you want to create. So don't wait for life to happen to you. Take the reins, plan your day, and create the future you deserve. Your time is now. Chapter 11. Focus on what you can control right now. Right now is the only moment that truly matters. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived yet. All that exists is what you can do right here, right now. If you focus on the things you can control in this very moment, you will unlock the full power of your potential and create real, lasting change. Too often, people waste their energy worrying about things that are out of their control, events, other people, or even the outcomes of their efforts. But the true secret to living a fulfilled, successful life is to focus on what you can control right now. When you focus on what you can control, you eliminate the endless cycle of worry and frustration that so many people live in. You stop being overwhelmed by all the external factors that seem beyond your reach, and instead, you start taking ownership of your actions, your thoughts, and your attitude. You realize that the only thing standing between you and success is the way you choose to respond to the present moment. The more you focus on what you can control, the more power you'll feel and the more you'll accomplish. It's easy to become distracted by the things that are out of your control. We've all been there. You lose sleep over things that may or may not even happen. You stress about how others perceive you, or you get bogged down by the uncertainty of the future. But none of those things are worth your energy. The truth is, all the worry and frustration that comes from focusing on the uncontrollable only steals from the energy that could be better spent on actions that will move you forward. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most empowered. You probably weren't worrying about things you couldn't change. Instead, you were focused on what you could control. Maybe it was your mindset, your effort, or your decision to act in the face of uncertainty. In those moments, you realized that you had the ability to choose how you responded, and that gave you the strength to push forward. It's this mindset of ownership and self-reliance that will propel you to success. The first step in focusing on what you can control is taking full responsibility for your actions. No one else is responsible for how you respond to life. If things aren't going your way, you have the power to change your reaction. If you fail, you have the ability to learn and grow from that failure. When you stop blaming external circumstances, other people, or bad luck for your situation, you take back control of your life. You stop waiting for the world to change, and you begin taking action to change it yourself. Another key aspect of focusing on what you can control is mastering your thoughts. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and the way you think directly influences how you act. If you're constantly telling yourself that things are out of your control, that life is unfair, or that you can't succeed, then you're creating a mental environment that is working against you. On the other hand, if you focus your thoughts on what you can change, on the actions you can take, and on the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals, you will begin to align your mindset with success. It's not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what you can do in the present moment to make your situation better. No matter how difficult life may seem, there's always something you can control. You can control your attitude, your effort, and your willingness to keep going when things get tough. You can choose to act with purpose and conviction, even when the outcome is uncertain. When you do this, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances, and instead, you become the creator of your own destiny. Your actions are another powerful aspect of what you can control. You may not be able to control the outcome of every situation, but you can control how you show up. If you give your best effort in everything you do, if you stay disciplined and consistent, and if you make choices that align with your long-term goals, you will set yourself on a path of success. The results may not come immediately, but over time, your commitment to taking action will build momentum and lead to positive outcomes. Sometimes, the only thing you can control in a given moment is your decision to keep going. Life will throw challenges your way, and there will be times when everything feels like it's falling apart. But it's in these moments that your focus on what you can control becomes most important. You may not be able to change the circumstances, but you can control your resilience. You can control your willingness to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead seems unclear. The more you practice this, the stronger you'll become. Another powerful way to focus on what you can control is by setting clear, actionable goals. Without goals, it's easy to drift through life, reacting to whatever comes your way. But when you set clear goals, you give yourself a roadmap for what to focus on each day. Every step you take toward achieving your goals is something you can control. And even when things don't go as planned, you still have the ability to adjust your actions, refine your approach, and keep working toward your objectives. Goals provide direction, and by focusing on them, you ensure that every day is spent moving closer to your desired outcome. Taking care of your physical and mental health is also something you can control, and it's essential to your overall well-being. How you treat your body and mind affects every area of your life. If you neglect your health, your energy and productivity will suffer. If you allow stress to pile up without taking time for rest and recovery, you'll burn out. By taking responsibility for your health and well-being, you give yourself the strength to take on whatever challenges life throws your way. This is one area where the power of control is undeniable. When you make self-care a priority, you improve your ability to handle stress, stay focused, and maintain the energy required to succeed. In addition to controlling your actions, thoughts, and health, it's also important to focus on the environment you surround yourself with. You may not be able to control the people or circumstances in your life, but you can control who and what you allow into your space. Are you surrounding yourself with positive, supportive individuals who help you grow, or are you letting negative influences drain your energy? By controlling your environment, you create a space where success can thrive. You eliminate distractions, stay focused on what matters, and give yourself the best possible chance to succeed. As you begin focusing on what you can control, you will notice a shift in your confidence and mindset. The more you take ownership of your actions, thoughts, and decisions, the more empowered you will feel. You will stop waiting for the world to change, and instead, you will start making the changes that will bring you closer to your goals. The power of now is undeniable, and when you fully embrace what you can control, you will experience the true freedom of living life on your own terms. Focusing on what you can control does not mean ignoring the difficulties and challenges that life presents. It means choosing to focus on the actions that will move you forward, no matter what. It means taking responsibility for your success, your mindset, and your choices. It means choosing to act with purpose, even when the outcome is uncertain. When you focus on what you can control right now, you stop being a passive observer in your life, and you start becoming an active creator of your future. The present moment is powerful, and it is the only moment where you can make a real difference. Don't let the uncontrollable hold you back. Focus on what you can control, and watch how it transforms your life. Chapter 12. Challenge your comfort zone with one bold action. The greatest enemy of growth is comfort. If you want to evolve, if you want to change, if you want to reach your true potential, you must break free from the confines of your comfort zone. The only way to unlock the life you want is to challenge yourself with bold actions that push you beyond your limits. Success never comes from staying safe. It comes from stepping into discomfort, embracing the unknown, and having the courage to take risks. Every moment you stay within the comfortable bubble you've created, you're avoiding the very experiences that will shape you into who you need to become. It's time to challenge that comfort zone with one bold action. Taking that first bold step is terrifying. It always will be. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of the unknown, they will always be there. But here's the truth. The moment you push past those fears, you begin to transform. You stop being controlled by your limitations and start controlling the way you live. The moment you take that bold step, you enter a new phase of life where growth becomes inevitable. In the beginning, the idea of stepping out of your comfort zone may seem overwhelming. You might feel like you're not ready, or that the risk is too great. You'll find countless reasons why you shouldn't take that leap. But every reason you come up with to stay in your comfort zone is just another excuse holding you back. Every excuse is another step away from the life you want to build. It's important to remember that the most significant growth doesn't happen in the familiar. It happens in the unfamiliar. It happens when you make the decision to take that bold action and put yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to rise. Think of the times in your life when you've done something that scared you. Maybe it was speaking in public for the first time, taking a new job, or trying something new. That moment when you made the decision to act despite the fear is where your greatest growth occurred. And though it felt uncomfortable in the moment, looking back, you realize that it was one of the most rewarding things you could have done. In those moments, you proved to yourself that you were capable of more than you ever thought possible. The fear that once seemed so overwhelming now feels like a distant memory, and the confidence you gained from stepping into the unknown becomes an anchor for future challenges. The beauty of taking one bold action is that it doesn't need to be some massive leap. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to wait until you feel 100% ready. The key is to take a step, no matter how small, that challenges your current state. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation, starting a new project, or learning a new skill. The important thing is to push yourself to act in a way that forces you to grow. Every bold action you take brings you closer to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you build resilience, You develop courage, and you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought you could. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone. It feels safe. It feels predictable. But staying there means you're not living to your full potential. You're not challenging yourself. You're not evolving. You're merely existing. Growth happens when you face discomfort head-on, when you take risks, and when you push yourself to go further than you've gone before. No one ever reached greatness by staying comfortable. The people who succeed are the ones who were willing to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from those experiences. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? The answer is simple. So what? Failure is not the end. It's part of the process. It's how you learn, grow, and become stronger. Every successful person has faced failure at some point. What sets them apart is not that they never failed, but that they were willing to fail, learn from their mistakes, and keep going. Failure isn't something to fear. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself beyond what's easy. And that's where the real growth happens. If you're unsure of what bold action to take, think about the one thing that scares you the most. What's the thing you've been putting off because it feels too risky, too uncomfortable, or too unknown? That's the action you need to take. The more you avoid it, the more it controls you. The more you face it, the more you take back control. It could be something as simple as signing up for a class, applying for a job you're not sure you're qualified for, or confronting a fear head-on. No matter how small the step seems, it's one step closer to breaking free from your comfort zone. Every bold action you take strengthens your resolve and builds your courage. You see, growth isn't a one-time thing, it's a constant process. Every bold action you take compounds on the last. The more you challenge yourself, the more you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable, the more you evolve. The discomfort you feel in the moment fades, but the strength and the lessons you gain stay with you forever. Soon taking bold actions will become second nature, and you'll find yourself embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. Another critical point to remember is that the world is full of opportunities, but you will only see them if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone. Opportunities don't show up when you stay in your safe space. They show up when you're brave enough to go after them. Think of all the amazing possibilities that could unfold if you dared to take one bold action today. You might find new friendships, new career opportunities, new experiences, or even new parts of yourself you never knew existed. The only way to uncover these possibilities is by stepping out of what's comfortable and diving into the unknown. Taking that first bold step doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if it isn't. Perfection doesn't lead to growth. Imperfection does. The mistakes you make along the way, the lessons you learn, and the courage you build will all be worth it. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it will never come. The perfect moment is now. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the action you're willing to take. It's time to challenge yourself. Stop waiting for life to hand you opportunities and start creating them yourself. Step into discomfort, take risks, make bold moves. And as you do, you'll begin to see just how capable you are. The fear you feel now will soon be replaced with confidence. The doubts will fade as you take action, and with every step, you'll become stronger. The growth you desire, the success you crave, and the life you've always dreamed of are waiting for you on the other side of your comfort zone. So today, take one bold action. It's the only way to unlock the next level of your life. Challenge yourself to go beyond the familiar. Challenge yourself to become someone you never thought you could be. And remember, the moment you push past your comfort zone is the moment everything changes. Chapter 13. Build self-respect by keeping every small promise. Self-respect isn't something that's earned by grand gestures. It's earned by the small promises you make to yourself and keep every single day. Every time you keep a promise, you're sending a message to yourself that you are someone who can be trusted, that you are someone who can be relied upon. This is the foundation of true self-respect, the kind that doesn't depend on the opinions of others or on external validation. It's the kind that comes from knowing that no matter what, you honor your word, no matter how small the commitment. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, whether it's waking up on time, finishing a task, or even something as simple as drinking enough water, those promises matter. They may seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but they're the building blocks of your self-respect. The more promises you keep, the more you prove to yourself that you are someone worthy of trust. And when you build that trust with yourself, you build an unshakable foundation of confidence. It's a cycle. The more you keep your word, the more you believe in yourself, and the more your self-respect grows. Many of us have the tendency to dismiss the small promises we make. It's just one thing. We think it won't matter if I break it. But that's where we go wrong. It's the small things that matter. The little promises you make to yourself are the ones that shape your character. When you break even one small promise, you send a message to yourself that you're not reliable, that you can't trust yourself. Over time, these small breaks chip away at your self-respect until one day you realize you've lost faith in yourself. But here's the thing. It's never too late to start rebuilding. You can begin today, right now, by committing to keep your word in the small things. Start with something simple. Maybe it's setting an alarm to wake up early, or committing to a healthy habit. The more you follow through, the stronger your self-respect becomes. And the stronger your self-respect, the more you'll trust yourself to take on bigger challenges. It's easy to be focused on the big promises, the life-changing goals that we set. But those big goals are only achievable if you have the foundation of self-respect built on the small promises. If you want to achieve something huge, it starts with the daily habits. It starts with showing up for yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about creating a routine that you stick to, and ensuring that each promise, no matter how small, is kept. That's the key to self-respect, consistency. Think about the people you trust in your life. Why do you trust them? It's because they keep their word. When they say they're going to do something, they do it. And that's how trust is built, whether it's in relationships with others or in the relationship you have with yourself. Trust is everything. Without it, you have nothing. If you can't trust yourself to follow through, then how can you expect to trust yourself with bigger, more important decisions? And it's not just about big goals or grand ambitions. Building self-respect through keeping small promises is about learning to honor your own needs and desires. It's about being honest with yourself and not making excuses. If you commit to something, do it, not because someone else is holding you accountable, but because you know that the only way to truly respect yourself is by keeping your word. A big part of self-respect is taking care of yourself. You can't respect yourself if you constantly disregard your own well-being. Keeping promises to yourself means taking care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. It means eating well, getting enough sleep, exercising, and making time for relaxation. These aren't just things you should do for your physical health. They're ways to prove to yourself that you matter. When you respect your body enough to feed it properly, to rest when it's needed, and to move it regularly, you're building self-respect. These small promises may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they create a solid foundation for a life of integrity and trust in yourself. And when you break a promise to yourself, it's important to recognize that it's not the end of the road. It's not about beating yourself up or feeling like a failure. It's about understanding why you broke that promise and using that knowledge to adjust and improve. Mistakes are part of the process, but the key is not to make excuses or rationalize the break. Instead, learn from it, forgive yourself, and make sure that next time you follow through. Every time you break a promise, it's an opportunity to learn and to grow. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Building self-respect isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. The key to developing a strong, unwavering respect for yourself is not about setting unrealistic goals that you can never meet. It's about setting achievable, actionable promises that you can keep. It's about showing up, doing the work, and staying true to yourself, even when the world around you may be telling you to take shortcuts or give up. The more you honor those small commitments, the more you'll see the ripple effect in other areas of your life. Consider the impact of keeping small promises in your personal relationships. Think about how people in your life, whether they're family members, friends, or colleagues, feel when you follow through on your word. When you consistently keep your promises, you build trust and respect in your relationships. The same is true for the relationship you have with yourself. When you keep your word to yourself, you build the trust and respect that are essential for personal growth. You send the message to yourself that you are someone who values their word, and that sets the stage for greater success in every aspect of your life. But the importance of keeping small promises goes even deeper than just building self-respect. It's also about developing a mindset of discipline and responsibility. When you commit to doing something and follow through, you are training yourself to become a person who takes responsibility for their actions. This mindset becomes ingrained, and over time it will affect every area of your life. You'll approach challenges with a mindset of "I can handle this," because you've already proven to yourself that you can follow through, no matter how small the task. In the end, self-respect is built on the foundation of small actions. Every time you keep a promise, you strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. You demonstrate your own worth and build your confidence. Each promise you keep, no matter how small, is a building block in the structure of your character. And when you take pride in your word, when you honor your commitments, you become someone who not only respects themselves but also inspires others to do the same. The power of self-respect lies in the consistency of the small actions you take every day. When you show up for yourself, when you keep your promises, when you do what you say you will do, you build a foundation that will support you in the face of challenges, in the pursuit of big dreams, and in the ongoing journey of personal growth. Keep your promises, no matter how small, and you will create a life filled with integrity, trust, and deep, unshakable self-respect. Chapter 14. Surround yourself with people who demand your best. Your environment plays a crucial role in shaping who you become. If you want to be great, you must surround yourself with people who demand your best. These are the individuals who won't let you settle for mediocrity, who challenge you to rise above your limitations, and who hold you accountable for your actions. They push you to think bigger, act bolder, and reach higher than you ever thought possible. When you're in their presence, you feel the fire of ambition ignite within you, and you know that you're capable of far more than you've been giving. The people you associate with directly impact your mindset, your level of effort, and ultimately your success. There is an undeniable power in being around individuals who hold high expectations, not just for themselves but for the people they keep in their circle. These people won't let you get away with mediocrity. They won't tolerate excuses. They'll push you to get out of your comfort zone, make difficult decisions, and keep striving, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Consider the times in your life when you've been around people who believed in you more than you believed in yourself. These are the relationships that elevate you, that inspire you to grow and become a better version of yourself. You didn't just feel their belief in you, it made you believe in yourself more deeply. They held up a mirror, reflecting the person you could be, not the person you were at that moment, but the person you could become, if you truly committed to growth. This is the power of surrounding yourself with people who demand your best. It's not just about external expectations, it's about creating an environment where your own expectations for yourself are elevated. When you spend time with people who challenge you, who are always striving to improve, and who won't let you take shortcuts, you begin to see that settling for less is not an option. You start holding yourself to a higher standard, and this ripple effect begins to impact every area of your life, from your personal growth to your career, your health, and even your relationships. But this doesn't happen by accident. You must be intentional about the people you allow into your life. You must choose to build a circle of influence that uplifts and inspires you, that calls you to be better, that refuses to let you stay stuck in complacency. This isn't about being around people who praise you for doing the bare minimum. It's about being around people who see your potential, who see what you're capable of, and who push you to go after it relentlessly. Too often, people settle for relationships that don't challenge them. They surround themselves with others who are comfortable with mediocrity, who have no interest in pushing the boundaries or striving for greatness. These kinds of relationships can be comforting, but they're also limiting. If you're constantly around people who are content with average, you'll start to think that average is enough for you too. But greatness is never achieved by staying comfortable. Greatness demands discomfort, it demands sacrifice, and it demands that you continually raise the bar on what's possible. The people you choose to be around should be people who inspire you to take action, to break free from your self-imposed limits, and to take bold steps toward your dreams. They should make you feel uncomfortable in the best way possible. When you're around them, you should feel like you're not living up to your full potential, like there's more within you waiting to be unlocked, and they should hold you accountable for making that happen. This doesn't mean you need to surround yourself with people who are constantly criticizing you or putting you down. That's not the kind of demand I'm talking about. The demand I'm referring to is the kind that pushes you with love, with belief, and with an unwavering commitment to your success. The people who demand your best don't settle for your excuses. They don't let you play small, but they also believe in your ability to rise. They believe in your potential, and they'll be right there with you every step of the way, offering support, encouragement, and guidance when needed. Think about the people who challenge you to do your best. These are the people who refuse to let you stay stagnant. They refuse to let you remain the same. They're always striving for more and asking you to do the same. And when you're around them, you start to see the gap between where you are and where you could be. You start to realize that you've been playing small, and you feel a burning desire to step up and show the world what you're truly capable of. But remember, these people won't always make you feel comfortable. In fact, their presence can sometimes feel like a wake-up call. They won't tolerate your procrastination, your excuses, or your fears. They will hold you to a standard that you might not even hold for yourself yet. They'll see your potential before you do, and they'll push you to see it too. At first it may feel uncomfortable, but in the end you'll realize that this discomfort is what pushes you to become the person you were meant to be. However, there's one important thing to remember: you must be willing to be held to a higher standard. If you're not ready to step up, if you're not prepared to challenge yourself, then these kinds of relationships will not be productive for you. You must be willing to face the truth about where you're falling short and take action to improve. You must be willing to make sacrifices, to let go of old habits, and to push through the resistance that comes when you strive for something greater. The people who demand your best will show you that this kind of growth is possible, but it will require effort, courage, and determination on your part. As you begin to surround yourself with people who demand your best, you'll also notice something else. You'll start demanding more from yourself. You won't settle for the status quo anymore. You'll become more disciplined, more focused, and more committed to taking action toward your goals. You'll start to see the value in putting in the hard work, even when it's not easy. You'll see that the small, consistent actions you take each day add up to something far greater than you ever imagined. And remember, this isn't just about success in a professional sense. It's about becoming the best version of yourself in all areas of life. It's about improving your health, strengthening your relationships, and deepening your sense of purpose. The people who demand your best don't just push you to excel in your career or your personal goals. They challenge you to be the best version of yourself in every area of life. In the end, the people who demand your best are the ones who will help you unlock your true potential. They will push you beyond your limits, inspire you to reach higher, and support you as you achieve greatness. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who expect more from you, and who will never let you settle for anything less than your best. And in return, you'll see just how much more you're capable of achieving. The best version of yourself is waiting on the other side of that challenge, and the people who demand your best are the ones who will help you find it. Chapter 15. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. When everything is on the line, when the pressure is mounting, and when the world feels like it's spinning out of control, that's when your true strength is revealed. The ability to stay calm under pressure is the mark of someone who is in full control of their mind. It's not a skill that comes naturally to most, but it's a skill that can be learned, honed, and mastered over time. The most successful individuals, those who seem unshaken by life's challenges, have one thing in common: they know how to remain calm when the storm is raging. They've trained their minds to handle the pressure, to stay focused, and to make clear decisions even in the most chaotic of situations. Pressure is an inevitable part of life. It's something we all face at one point or another. Whether it's the pressure of a big decision, a high-stakes moment in your career, a personal crisis, or a challenging situation with no clear answer, pressure will come. The question is, how will you respond when it does? Will you crumble, overwhelmed by fear and doubt, or will you rise steady and composed, capable of navigating even the most intense circumstances? The ability to stay calm under pressure isn't a trait reserved for a select few. It's a skill that anyone can develop, regardless of background, experience, or personality. The key is training your mind. Your thoughts shape your reality, and if you allow fear, stress, or panic to take over your thoughts when pressure hits, you will lose control of the situation. But if you train your mind to remain calm, focused, and centered, you can take command of any situation, no matter how intense it becomes. The first step in training your mind to stay calm under pressure is to develop awareness of your mental state. You cannot control something you are not aware of. So when pressure begins to mount, you must first notice how your mind begins to react. Do your thoughts become erratic? Does anxiety creep in? Are you consumed by worry about what could go wrong? This awareness is the first line of defense. Once you're aware of the negative patterns your mind is falling into, you can take active steps to interrupt them. Next, you must learn how to regulate your emotions. Emotional regulation is a key component of mental control. When pressure rises, emotions naturally flare up. Fear, anger, frustration, or self-doubt may emerge. But you can choose not to be ruled by these emotions. You can take a step back, breathe deeply, and allow your emotions to settle before you react. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, you will develop the ability to stay calm and clear-headed, even when your emotions want to take the reins. Breathing is one of the most powerful tools you can use to maintain composure in high-pressure situations. When you feel the pressure mounting and your heart rate increasing, focus on your breath. Slow, deep breaths signal to your nervous system that you are safe, which helps to reduce the physiological effects of stress. By practicing deep breathing, you can regulate your body's response to pressure and maintain a sense of calm. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes, so when pressure strikes, your body will naturally respond with calm instead of panic. Another important technique in mastering calm under pressure is visualization. Successful athletes, leaders, and high performers use visualization to prepare their minds for high-pressure situations. By vividly imagining yourself succeeding in a challenging scenario, your brain becomes conditioned to respond positively when faced with similar challenges in real life. This mental rehearsal can help you feel more confident, reduce anxiety, and increase your ability to stay calm when it matters most. In addition to these techniques, it's essential to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present and fully engaged in the current moment, without being distracted by past mistakes or future worries. When pressure hits, it's easy to become overwhelmed by all the potential outcomes, all the things that could go wrong. But by practicing mindfulness, you can focus on the task at hand, break down the situation into manageable pieces, and take it one step at a time. This focus on the present moment keeps your mind from spiraling into stress or fear. One of the most powerful ways to train your mind to stay calm is by consistently exposing yourself to challenging situations. Just like physical muscles become stronger through consistent exercise, your mental muscles get stronger through regular practice. Deliberately place yourself in situations that push you out of your comfort zone, whether it's taking on a new responsibility at work, having a difficult conversation, or facing a challenge you've been avoiding. The more you face pressure head-on, the better you'll become at handling it when it inevitably comes. Over time, you'll train your mind to stay calm because you'll realize that you've been through tough situations before, and you survived. Furthermore, it's important to reframe how you view pressure. Often we associate pressure with negative outcomes, stress, failure, or making mistakes. But pressure doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, it can be an incredible motivator. It can push you to focus, to take action, and to perform at your highest level. When you view pressure as an opportunity for growth, rather than a threat to your well-being, it changes the way your mind reacts. Instead of shutting down under pressure, you begin to embrace it as a challenge that you are capable of overcoming. Another vital component of staying calm under pressure is maintaining perspective. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture and become consumed by the immediate pressure. But when you step back and remind yourself of the bigger context, why you're doing, what your ultimate goals are, and how this pressure is just one small part of a much larger journey, you can keep your emotions in check and stay focused on what truly matters. Perspective is a powerful tool because it allows you to zoom out and see the pressure for what it truly is: a temporary challenge that you can handle. Of course, developing the ability to stay calm under pressure isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time, patience, and continuous practice. But the more you commit to training your mind, the more you will notice the positive impact on your life. You'll become more resilient, more capable of handling stress, and more equipped to make clear, rational decisions in the face of pressure. In addition, You'll find that the more you practice staying calm under pressure, the less you are affected by external circumstances. External pressures, whether they're from work, relationships or other people, will no longer dictate your mental state. Instead, you'll become the calm in the storm. No matter what chaos surrounds you, you'll remain centered and in control of your reactions. This is the power of mental mastery. This is what happens when you train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Ultimately, the true test of your strength is not how you perform when things are easy, but how you react when the pressure is on. The ability to stay calm under pressure is a skill that will serve you in every area of your life. It will allow you to navigate challenges with grace, make better decisions under stress, and emerge from tough situations stronger and more confident. So start training your mind today. Use the tools at your disposal: breathing, visualization, mindfulness and perspective, and step into the storm with the knowledge that you can remain calm, no matter what happens. Chapter 16. Take full ownership of your choices and results. Your life, your choices, and your results. You are the author of your own story, and every chapter is shaped by the decisions you make. Whether they are big or small, momentous or seemingly insignificant, each choice is a thread that weaves the tapestry of your life. It's time to stop blaming circumstances, stop pointing fingers, and take full ownership of your actions and the results they create. Because when you take full ownership, you step into your true power. Taking responsibility for your choices isn't just about owning up to the things you've done wrong or facing the consequences of your mistakes. It's about accepting the totality of your decisions, both the good and the bad, and recognizing that you are the sole driver of your life. This is the key to unlocking the door to growth and transformation. When you take ownership of your choices, you empower yourself to shape your destiny and control the outcomes you desire. Many people live with a mindset that they are victims of their circumstances. They blame others, the economy, bad luck, or anything else they can point to as the reason why their lives aren't going the way they want. But here's the truth: life does not happen to you. It happens because of you. Every result in your life is a reflection of the choices you've made, and the sooner you acknowledge that, the sooner you can begin to change your results. Taking full ownership means looking at your life honestly and without excuses. It means acknowledging the things you've done right, the things you've done wrong, and the choices you made that led to where you are now. It's not about self-criticism or shame, but about radical self-awareness and acceptance. When you understand that every choice you've made, whether it led to success or failure, was yours to make, you take the power back from external factors and place it firmly in your hands. The first step in taking ownership of your life is to stop making excuses. It's easy to justify why things didn't work out the way you wanted. Maybe you weren't given the right opportunities. Maybe someone held you back. Maybe you didn't have enough time. But the truth is, your excuses will never move you forward. They will only keep you stuck in a cycle of blame and inaction. The moment you stop blaming and start accepting responsibility for where you are, you step into a position of power. When you stop excusing your behavior or your results, you shift from a victim mindset to a mindset of responsibility and accountability. You understand that you have the ability to create the outcomes you desire, no matter what the circumstances are. Taking ownership means taking responsibility for your decisions, your actions, and the consequences that follow. It's easy to look at the external factors and say, "This happened because of them," or "I couldn't help it." But what you really need to ask is, what part did I play in this? What choices did I make that contributed to where I am now? The next step in taking full ownership of your choices and results is to let go of the need for approval from others. When we live our lives seeking validation or approval from others, we give them control over our decisions. We become dependent on their opinions and judgments to determine our worth and the choices we make. But when you take ownership, you no longer need anyone's approval to make decisions. You trust yourself to make the right choices, and you accept the consequences of those choices without needing someone else to tell you whether you're doing the right thing. The power of ownership also lies in the ability to learn from your mistakes. When you own your mistakes, you don't have to shy away from them or pretend they didn't happen. You embrace them, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones toward greater growth. Everyone makes mistakes. It's part of being human. But it's how you respond to those mistakes that determines your growth. When you take ownership, you shift your focus from regret to lessons learned. You stop seeing your failures as signs of weakness and start viewing them as opportunities for growth. Taking ownership also means facing the fear of failure head-on. One of the biggest reasons people avoid taking responsibility for their choices is the fear of failure. They fear the judgment, the embarrassment, and the consequences of not getting things right. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. It's just the beginning of a new lesson. Every failure is an opportunity to get better, to refine your approach, and to strengthen your resolve. When you take full ownership, you don't run from failure, you embrace it as part of the process. The ability to take ownership of your choices also means being consistent in your actions. Success is not a matter of making one good decision and then hoping for the best. Success is about showing up every day, making decisions that align with your goals, and taking consistent action toward those goals. Ownership means you commit to doing the work, even when it's hard. It means staying disciplined when motivation fades. When you take ownership, you take full responsibility for maintaining the habits and behaviors that will lead you to success, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. Moreover, true ownership goes beyond just personal actions. It extends to your environment. Who you surround yourself with has a massive impact on your choices and your results. When you take ownership of your life, you take ownership of your relationships too. You recognize that the people you spend time with influence your mindset and decisions. You take responsibility for whether those relationships are uplifting and supportive or toxic and draining. By taking ownership of your relationships, you ensure that your environment supports your goals rather than detracts from them. Ownership also means committing to personal growth. It's easy to say, "I'll be happy when I achieve X, Y, or Z." But the truth is that growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you commit to learning, evolving, and improving on a daily basis. The results you see in your life are a direct reflection of your commitment to growth. If you're not satisfied with the results you're seeing, it's time to take a hard look at your level of commitment. Are you truly doing everything you can to grow, to learn, and to develop yourself? Are you putting in the work necessary to achieve your goals, or are you expecting someone else to do it for you? The more you own your choices and your results, the more control you have over your life. No one can take that away from you. External circumstances can change, but your ability to respond to them is always within your control. When you take ownership, you move from a place of helplessness to a place of power. You stop waiting for things to happen to you and start making things happen for you. You start to see yourself as the creator of your own life, capable of producing the results you desire through intentional choices and consistent action. The beauty of taking full ownership is that it gives you the power to change. If you're not happy with the results you're getting, you can change. If you're not where you want to be, you can take different actions. You can make different choices. Ownership means that you are never stuck unless you choose to be. You always have the power to create new outcomes, and that power lies in the choices you make each day. Taking full ownership of your life isn't always easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to face the consequences of your decisions. But it is the only way to truly live a life of freedom and purpose. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for things to change and start making the changes yourself. You stop being a passive participant in your life and become an active creator. This is where true power lies, in the decisions you make and the results you create. Take full ownership of your choices, and you'll unlock a level of freedom, success, and growth that you never thought possible. Chapter 17. Fuel your growth by reading and applying wisdom. The key to unlocking your true potential is hidden in the pages of a book. Wisdom, like fuel to a fire, has the power to accelerate your growth, illuminate your path, and transform your life. The most successful people in history have one thing in common: they never stop learning. They understand that the acquisition of wisdom is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey that fuels their continued evolution. It's time to unlock that same power for yourself. If you want to grow, you must feed your mind the right kind of fuel. Books, articles, speeches, and ideas from the great thinkers of the world provide the nourishment that your mind needs to expand. Knowledge is the building block of progress, and without it, you remain stagnant, unable to break free from the limitations that hold you back. But wisdom is not just about gathering information, it's about applying it in your life, making it an integral part of how you think, how you act, and how you approach the world. The challenge is not merely to read, but to apply what you've learned. Knowledge without action is a wasted resource. Wisdom is the application of knowledge, and it is only when you put what you've learned into practice that you see true results. When you read something powerful, don't just think, "That's a good idea." Instead, ask yourself, "How can I apply this to my life right now?" This is where the real transformation begins. Your growth depends on how much wisdom you accumulate and how well you apply it. Imagine if you dedicated just 1 hour a day to reading and applying the lessons you find in books. That's 365 hours a year, over 15 full days of learning and putting wisdom into practice. Over time, the impact of this commitment will be immense. You will outgrow your old self, and you will start to see progress in every area of your life. Your mindset will shift, your decisions will improve, and your results will multiply. But the process of applying wisdom isn't always easy. It's not enough to just read. You have to actively engage with the material. You must reflect, ask questions, and think critically about how the principles you are learning can be woven into the fabric of your daily life. Great books aren't meant to be skimmed through or read casually. They are meant to challenge your thinking and provoke new ideas that lead to action. When you read, you should ask yourself, "How can I integrate this into my habits, my routines, my relationships, and my decisions?" It's about taking wisdom off the pages and making it a living, breathing part of your experience. You must also read with purpose. Every book, article, or piece of wisdom you encounter should serve a specific goal. Whether it's personal development, financial growth, mental clarity, or spiritual enlightenment, choose material that directly contributes to where you want to go. Randomly reading without a clear focus can lead to confusion, but intentional reading directed toward your goals accelerates your growth and sharpens your focus. It's not the quantity of books you read that matters, it's the quality of the information and your commitment to using it in your life. Another important aspect of reading for growth is consistency. Knowledge compounds over time. The more you read, the more connections you'll make between the ideas and strategies you come across. These connections form a vast network of understanding that expands your awareness, and when applied, this wisdom leads to results. But consistency doesn't just apply to reading, it applies to how often you review, reflect, and apply what you've learned. To truly benefit from the wisdom you encounter, you must make it a daily habit. It's not about reading fast, it's about reading intentionally, comprehending deeply, and applying relentlessly. One of the most powerful ways to fuel your growth is to read from the great minds who have come before you. Their experiences, struggles, and triumphs offer valuable lessons that transcend time and context. The principles that guided the likes of Marcus Aurelius, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, and other visionaries are just as relevant today as they were in their time. They weren't just knowledgeable, they applied their wisdom in ways that changed the world. Their successes and failures serve as roadmaps, showing you what works, what doesn't, and how to persevere when things get tough. But wisdom doesn't only come from books written by the historical greats. It's also found in modern-day thought leaders, podcasts, articles, and even conversations with mentors. Seek wisdom from every source available, because knowledge is not bound by time or place. Whether it's the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophers or the latest breakthroughs in science and business, the key to growth is to stay open-minded and hungry for learning. When you start applying wisdom to your life, you begin to experience real change. You'll notice yourself thinking differently, reacting more thoughtfully, and making decisions that are more aligned with your goals. The more wisdom you apply, the more your behavior and mindset will evolve. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of becoming the best version of yourself. You might not see the results immediately, but over time, they will compound. You'll begin to outgrow your old habits and limitations, and you'll create a new standard for who you are and what you're capable of. Another powerful aspect of reading and applying wisdom is that it can help you develop a sense of clarity and direction. When you read and reflect on the insights of others, you gain new perspectives that can help you navigate life's challenges with greater confidence. Whether you're facing difficult decisions, dealing with setbacks, or striving to achieve your goals, the wisdom you've gained through reading will help you stay focused on what truly matters. It will serve as a compass that guides you through uncertainty, helping you make decisions that align with your long-term vision and values. Growth is not linear. There will be times when you feel stuck, when you question whether the effort is worth it, or when you're not seeing the results you expect. During these times, it's easy to feel discouraged and lose motivation. But this is where the power of wisdom truly comes in. The books you read, the lessons you apply, and the insights you gain will give you the strength to push through those challenging moments. They will remind you that every setback is temporary, and that growth often requires enduring discomfort before you see the rewards. When you stay committed to reading and applying wisdom, you develop the mental fortitude to persevere even when things seem difficult. A key aspect of this journey is the recognition that wisdom is not just about accumulating knowledge. It's about creating habits and systems that reinforce your learning. Reading is the first step, but the next step is taking action. What you do with what you read matters far more than the volume of information you consume. Each time you read, ask yourself how you can take immediate action based on what you've learned. Whether it's a small change in your mindset, a shift in your daily habits, or a new way of approaching a challenge, every action you take based on wisdom moves you closer to your ultimate potential. Reading and applying wisdom is a lifelong commitment to growth. It's not a one-time event, but a continuous process of learning, adapting and evolving. The more you immerse yourself in knowledge, the more you'll realize how much you still have to learn. But that's the beauty of the journey. It's never finished. Each new book, each new lesson, and each new application brings you closer to the person you were always meant to be. If you want to fuel your growth, you must commit to reading and applying wisdom consistently. Seek out the lessons that will help you grow and make them a part of your daily life. This is how you transform knowledge into power, how you turn wisdom into action, and how you build the life you desire. Every book you read, every piece of wisdom you apply, is a step forward on your journey of growth and transformation. Keep reading, keep applying, keep growing. Your best self is waiting on the other side. Chapter 18. Speak to yourself with power, not self-doubt. You are the architect of your own destiny, and the language you use with yourself shapes every aspect of your life. The words you speak to yourself determine the direction of your thoughts, actions, and ultimately your results. You are constantly communicating with yourself, and the tone of that inner dialogue can either elevate you or hold you back. The question is, are you speaking to yourself with power, or are you allowing self-doubt to dictate your future? When you speak to yourself with power, you give yourself the confidence and drive to face challenges head-on. You create a mindset that is unstoppable, resilient, and determined. On the other hand, when you allow self-doubt to take over, you rob yourself of the potential to succeed. Self-doubt creeps in with negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and a narrative that convinces you that you're not good enough, that you're not capable, or that success is reserved for others. This is a lie. The truth is that you are more than capable of achieving greatness, but it all starts with how you speak to yourself. You see, your inner dialogue is a reflection of how you see yourself and your potential. When you doubt your abilities, you unconsciously reinforce the idea that you aren't worthy or capable of success. You create mental barriers that prevent you from taking action and moving forward. The more you tell yourself that you can't, the more you believe it, and the more you hold yourself back. But when you speak to yourself with power, everything changes. Your thoughts align with your goals, and your mindset becomes one of possibility instead of limitation. To begin, it's important to recognize the words you are using on a daily basis. Are you speaking with strength, conviction, and belief in your own abilities? Or are you constantly second-guessing yourself and doubting your potential? The language you use to describe yourself and your circumstances matters. For instance, instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I can figure this out." Instead of "this is too hard," say, "I am capable of overcoming challenges." Small shifts in the way you speak to yourself can create powerful shifts in your mindset. The power of positive self-talk lies in its ability to reframe your perspective. When you speak with power, you replace self-doubt with confidence and certainty. You remind yourself of your strengths, your past successes, and your ability to grow through adversity. You begin to believe in yourself, not because everything is perfect or easy, but because you know that you are resilient, resourceful, and capable of handling whatever comes your way. Your words become a tool for self-empowerment. But this isn't just about being positive all the time. It's about speaking to yourself with truth and authenticity. Speaking with power means acknowledging your challenges and setbacks, but it also means choosing to respond to those obstacles with a mindset of growth. It's about taking responsibility for your thoughts, actions, and results, rather than falling into the trap of self-pity or blame. When you speak with power, you don't shy away from difficult situations. You face them with determination and confidence, knowing that you have the inner strength to overcome them. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to reframe your negative thoughts. When self-doubt arises, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or is it holding me back? If the thought is negative or limiting, replace it with a more empowering one. For example, if you're thinking, I'm not good enough to succeed, replace it with, I have everything I need to succeed, and I am constantly growing and improving. Reframing your thoughts in this way shifts your mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. Another important aspect of speaking with power is embracing your strengths and owning your abilities. Many people struggle with imposter syndrome, feeling like they don't deserve success or that they're not as capable as others. But this is a lie you tell yourself. You have unique gifts, talents, and experiences that have shaped who you are, and these qualities make you more than capable of achieving your goals. Speak to yourself with pride and confidence in your abilities. Remind yourself of your accomplishments and acknowledge the progress you've made. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your power and resilience. When you speak to yourself with power, you also build a mindset that is focused on solutions, not problems. Instead of dwelling on obstacles or setbacks, you train your mind to seek out opportunities and solutions. This shift in mindset transforms challenges into stepping stones, and you begin to see every difficulty as an opportunity for growth. When you face a setback, rather than saying, I can't do this, you say, what can I learn from this? How can I move forward? This kind of thinking empowers you to take control of your circumstances and find ways to succeed, no matter what. The truth is that your inner dialogue has a direct impact on your external results. When you speak to yourself with power, you create an energy that propels you forward. You attract opportunities, people, and situations that align with your mindset of possibility. On the other hand, when you speak to yourself with self-doubt, you create an energy that holds you back. The universe responds to your thoughts and beliefs, and when you believe in your own power, the world begins to respond accordingly. It's also important to recognize that the language you use with yourself sets the tone for how you approach life's challenges. If you constantly speak to yourself in a negative or self-critical way, you're training your brain to focus on limitations rather than possibilities. This makes it harder to take action, stay motivated, and push through difficulties. However, when you speak to yourself with power and self-belief, you create an internal environment that fosters growth, resilience, and success. The language of power is rooted in self-compassion, self-love, and self-respect. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of success and happiness, and that your mistakes and failures do not define you. Speaking to yourself with power means accepting yourself as you are, while also committing to becoming the best version of yourself. It's about being kind to yourself when things don't go as planned, but also holding yourself accountable for your actions and results. It's the balance between self-acceptance and self-improvement. In the face of adversity, speaking to yourself with power becomes even more crucial. Life will throw challenges your way, but it's your inner dialogue that will determine how you respond. Will you let self-doubt take over, or will you rise to the occasion with confidence and determination? Speaking to yourself with power means choosing to believe in your ability to overcome obstacles, no matter how difficult they may seem. It means trusting that you are strong enough, resourceful enough, and capable enough to handle whatever comes your way. Remember, you are the narrator of your own story. The words you speak to yourself shape the direction of your life. So speak with power, speak with confidence, speak with belief in yourself and your potential. Every time you speak to yourself with power, you take one more step toward the life you deserve. Every thought, every word, and every action is a reflection of who you believe you are. And when you believe in your own power, you can achieve anything. Chapter 19. Set clear goals and take action without delay. The moment you set a goal, you step into a new level of possibility. But it's not enough just to dream or hope. The difference between success and stagnation is the ability to set clear goals and, more importantly, take immediate action toward achieving them. Dreams without action are nothing more than fantasies. Goals without deadlines become distant desires. To transform your aspirations into reality, you must take swift, decisive action. The time to act is now. Setting goals is more than just writing down what you want to achieve. It's about creating a roadmap that guides your every decision, your every move. Without clear goals, you're like a ship adrift at sea, with no destination in sight. You may have energy, but it's scattered and without direction. The power of goal setting lies not just in the clarity it brings, but in the discipline it instills in you. Goals give you purpose, focus, and a reason to push forward, even when it feels tough. But goals alone are not enough. Action is the real difference maker. A goal without action is a wish, and wishes do not come true unless you take the necessary steps to make them a reality. Setting clear goals is important, but it's the actions you take to achieve them that will define your success. You must take action without hesitation, without delay, and without waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There will always be challenges, uncertainties, and obstacles. The key is to act anyway, to move forward regardless of how prepared you feel or how much uncertainty lies ahead. When you set clear goals, you create a target, but in order to hit that target, you must take focused, intentional action. The longer you wait, the further away your goal becomes. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, and it's often rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, or fear of not being good enough. These fears are natural, but they should never hold you back. Fear doesn't disappear by avoiding action. It disappears by facing it head-on. By taking that first step, you immediately build momentum, and momentum is the key to making your goals a reality. Action doesn't have to be massive or overwhelming. It just has to be consistent. You don't need to have everything figured out before you start. In fact, waiting until you have everything in place is one of the most effective ways to delay your success. The real power lies in getting started, even if you don't have all the answers. The path to success is built one step at a time, and each step you take brings you closer to your goal. The beauty of setting clear goals and taking action is that it brings you clarity. As you begin to take deliberate steps toward your goals, you begin to see the path more clearly. You gain insight, you adjust your course, and you learn along the way. Each action you take is a learning experience that propels you further along the journey. The more you act, the more you understand about what works and what doesn't, and you can course correct as needed. In this process, it's essential to remember that setbacks are inevitable, but they should never derail your progress. Every goal worth achieving will come with its challenges. There will be obstacles, mistakes, and moments of doubt, but these are not signs to stop. They are simply part of the journey. When you encounter setbacks, it's not a reason to abandon your goal, it's an opportunity to learn, grow, and come back even stronger. Taking action in the face of adversity is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. One of the most powerful ways to ensure you take consistent action toward your goals is to break them down into smaller, more manageable tasks. When a goal feels overwhelming, it's easy to get paralyzed by the magnitude of it. But when you break it down into smaller steps, you make it more achievable and less intimidating. Instead of thinking about how much work is ahead, focus on the next step. What can you do right now to move closer to your goal? What action can you take today that will make tomorrow easier? By focusing on the present moment and the immediate next step, you eliminate the fear of the larger task and make progress every day. Furthermore, when you take action without delay, you build discipline. Discipline is the foundation of success. It's the ability to stay committed to your goals, even when motivation fades or life gets tough. Motivation is fleeting, discipline is enduring. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when you'd rather procrastinate, when the challenges seem insurmountable, or when the path ahead is unclear. It's the ability to take that next step, even when you don't feel like it. Setting clear goals and taking immediate action builds this discipline, and it's this discipline that will sustain you throughout the journey. As you take action, remember to stay connected to your why. Your reasons for pursuing a goal are what fuel your persistence and drive. If your goals don't have a strong emotional connection to you, they will feel hollow and you will lose momentum. But when you connect your goals to something meaningful, whether it's personal growth, financial freedom, helping others, or creating a legacy, you tap into a source of energy that propels you forward, even in the face of adversity. Your why is the foundation of your determination, and it's what will keep you moving when everything else seems to be working against you. Another powerful principle to remember is that progress is better than perfection. Perfectionism is one of the most common reasons people delay action. They wait until everything is perfect before they begin, but perfection is an illusion. There will never be a perfect time or perfect conditions to start. You must be willing to start imperfectly. Take action now, even if it's not perfect. Progress is built on action, and action leads to growth. The more you act, the closer you get to refining your approach, improving your skills, and ultimately achieving your goals. Don't let perfectionism keep you stuck in a cycle of inaction. The only perfect action is the action you take today. At the heart of setting goals and taking action without delay is a commitment to self-accountability. You must hold yourself responsible for your progress. No one else is going to make your dreams a reality. It's up to you. If you don't take responsibility for your actions and results, you will never gain the traction you need to succeed. Take ownership of your goals and your journey. When you do, you take back the power to shape your life, and you become unstoppable. So set clear goals, take immediate action, and keep moving forward. Don't wait for the right moment. Don't wait for everything to fall into place. The right moment is right now. Take the first step, no matter how small, and build momentum every day. You are capable of achieving everything you desire, but it will only happen when you commit to action without delay. The journey to success begins with a single decision to take action today. Chapter 20. Reflect each night to learn and improve tomorrow. The difference between success and failure is often found in the quiet moments, the moments when you reflect, analyze, and learn. When the day is done, it's easy to let everything slip away without taking a moment to reflect on what you've done, where you've been, and how you've moved toward your goals. But it's in those quiet reflections that you truly set yourself up for success tomorrow. The simple habit of nightly reflection is one of the most powerful tools for continuous growth and improvement. It's in this moment that you unlock the potential to learn from today's actions and make tomorrow even better. Reflection is the key to unlocking hidden lessons. Each day is a collection of moments, each with its own set of experiences. Some moments are successful, and others are less than ideal. But without reflection, you miss the opportunity to learn from them. You miss the chance to understand what worked, what didn't, and most importantly, why. Reflection gives you clarity. It allows you to distill the chaos of the day into actionable insights. Every challenge you face, every mistake you make, every success you experience, carries with it a lesson. When you take the time to reflect, you extract these lessons, and that's when you start building real growth. The beauty of reflection is that it doesn't require any complicated tools or a special environment. You don't need a lengthy journal or a quiet room to do this. All you need is a few minutes of honest, undistracted thought. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? What lessons can I learn from today's actions? What changes do I need to make for tomorrow? It's not about being critical, it's about being constructive. It's about understanding that every day is a chance to grow, and that with each reflection, you are laying the foundation for your improvement. One of the most powerful aspects of reflecting each night is that it forces you to take ownership of your actions. Instead of blaming circumstances, other people, or external factors, reflection allows you to focus on what you control, your actions, your decisions, and your attitude. When you reflect on your day, you shift the responsibility back to where it belongs, with you. It's easy to point fingers when things go wrong, but true growth comes when you accept that you are the one who determines the course of your day. Reflection teaches you the power of self-accountability, and it's this accountability that leads to lasting change. The key to making nightly reflection effective is consistency. The more consistent you are, the more powerful it becomes. If you only reflect once in a while, the benefits will be scattered. But if you make it a daily habit, you'll begin to see patterns, both in your successes and in your failures. You'll begin to notice areas where you consistently excel and areas where you continue to struggle. The beauty of this process is that once you identify these patterns, you can make intentional changes to improve. Reflection is not about beating yourself up for your mistakes. It's about using those mistakes as stepping stones to improvement. Each night becomes an opportunity to fine-tune your approach, to adjust your mindset, and to sharpen your skills for the next day. Don't let the temptation to skip reflection get the better of you. It's easy to convince yourself that you're too tired or too busy to reflect. But skipping this habit is like skipping a workout for your mind. It's in these moments of reflection that you build the mental strength and resilience required to face challenges with clarity and confidence. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who take the time to reflect on their failures, learn from them, and use those lessons to push forward. Reflection is the ultimate tool for breaking through limitations and achieving your goals. As you get into the habit of reflecting each night, you'll begin to notice a shift in your mindset. Your focus will change from reactive to proactive. Instead of going to bed feeling like the day just happened to you, you'll go to bed with a sense of control, knowing that you've learned and grown from the experiences of the day. You'll start to approach each new day with intention, because you'll know exactly what needs to be done to keep moving forward. You'll also become more patient with yourself, understanding that growth is a process, and that every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward improvement. But reflection isn't just about analyzing what happened, it's about planning for the future. When you reflect, you gain clarity on your next steps. What do you need to do tomorrow to keep moving forward? What new strategies can you implement? What mindset shifts do you need to make? Every night, as you reflect, you're not just learning from the past, you're also preparing for the future. You're setting yourself up for a better tomorrow by taking action today. The power of reflection is compounded when you pair it with gratitude. As you reflect, take a moment to recognize the things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what went wrong to what went right, from scarcity to abundance. It's easy to get bogged down by mistakes and setbacks, but gratitude allows you to stay grounded and appreciative of the progress you've made, no matter how small. When you reflect with gratitude, you create a mindset that is focused on growth, opportunity, and possibility. You'll find that as you make reflection a regular practice, you'll begin to notice an increase in your self-awareness. Reflection helps you understand not just what you did, but also why you did it. It reveals the motivations behind your actions, your emotional responses, and the thought patterns that influence your decisions. The more aware you become of your behaviors, the better equipped you are to make positive changes. You'll start to notice areas where you're holding yourself back, and you'll be able to make intentional choices to move beyond those limitations. Another aspect of nightly reflection is that it helps you stay connected to your goals. As you reflect on your actions each day, you're reminded of the bigger picture. You're reminded of why you're putting in the work, why you're striving to improve. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of your long-term vision, but reflection brings you back to center. It helps you stay aligned with your purpose, ensuring that each step you take is moving you closer to your goals. This process of reflection isn't just valuable for personal growth, it's also essential for building emotional resilience. Life will throw challenges at you, and it's not always easy to navigate those tough moments. But by reflecting on your responses to adversity, you'll learn how to manage stress, maintain your composure, and handle challenges with grace. Reflection teaches you that challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities to build your mental toughness and resilience. With each challenge you face, you become stronger, and with each night of reflection, you become wiser. Over time, as you reflect and apply the lessons learned, you'll begin to see a remarkable transformation. Your actions will become more deliberate, your decisions more thoughtful, and your mindset more positive.